appears to have targeted its Gulf neighbor again.
The United Arab Emirates is investigating the source of the strike, saying 3 drones entered the country from its western border. 2 were intercepted, but a third struck an electrical generator near a nuclear power plant in Abu Dhabi. It caused a fire, but no one was hurt. The UAE, which has previously accused Iran of drone strikes, called the incident an unacceptable act of aggression.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. An Ebola outbreak in Africa has spread in the Congo and Uganda, with some Americans there. Among the 300 or so people infected, at least 80 have died. And while the World Health Organization classifies it as an international emergency, the CDC here in the U.S., which is monitoring, describes the risk to Americans here as low. And a Canadian passenger on the cruise ship with the hantavirus outbreak tests positive. The outbreak left 3 people dead and has Americans taken off that ship, put in quarantine in facilities in Georgia and Nebraska as a precaution. They have found the 3rd suspect in a series of weekend shootings around Austin, Texas, leading to a shelter-in-place order in many areas. The final arrest last night.
I think that's a success, but unfortunately, we have 4 people that were struck by gunfire, and we have 1 that's critical. And so that is something that we need to take seriously.
Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis. All 3 of the suspects are juvenile teenagers accused of shooting at apartments, homes, fire stations, and stealing cars. America's listening to Fox News.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los, glad you're here with us on Monday. Starting out this week, well, for Los, a short week, I would like to point out, too. This dude getting ready to celebrate. Let's go, dude.
20th anniversary this week.
It's big time, man.
We haven't been out of the country in almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
So we're taking the trip to the Dominican. So if anybody else is heading to the Dominican, we'll see you there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's meet at the bar. We'll have some drinks together.
That's right.
So much fun.
Swim up bars and everything else.
Oh, my gosh. It's so
it should be
awesome.
fun. Should be a good time.
I've been to the DR one time, and from what I recall, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, so much fun. And just absolutely beautiful. I mean, anytime you're in the Caribbean is beautiful.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
And this time my wife decided that she wasn't going to take no for an answer.
Okay.
Because normally it's, oh, we got this going on. Or we have. And she's like, it's 20. We're going somewhere. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Me and my wife, we did, for 10, we did Fripp Island, South Carolina. And then, which was really, really nice. And then for 20, we actually did, like a Dahlonega and did all the little wineries up there.
Oh, that's nice, too.
Yeah, it was super cool. We loved it. We didn't get out of the country, but hopefully maybe for, maybe for 30 or something. If we got something to shoot for. Be like y'all, see if we can get out of there. Yeah, dude, it's going to be so awesome. And then the fact that you got a short week, dude, you got to be loving that.
Yeah, it does feel weird. When I got it this morning, I was like, oh, I got a couple of these. All right.
It feels like Thursday.
Oh, it feels very strange.
That's right. It's Friday Eve. It's Stripper Thursday.
Very odd. Now, we do have a day off on the back end next week.
Oh, that's right.
Right, next Monday. So plan accordingly.
With Memorial Day.
Get your 3-day weekend ready.
Shoot, yeah. Are y'all going to do anything there? Y'all got kids stuff?
No, we're traveling back.
Oh, so you'll be,
Yeah, we'll be traveling back. And so I'll be back in with you guys, Tuesday morning.
Tuesday, yeah. Back when things get back to normal. It's going to be so fun. But weekend was good for us. We kind of laid low on Friday night, and then Saturday went to Back Your Blue and America 2.
Yeah, you and your wife got all dressed up. Y'all looked great for that.
You're very kind. My wife made me look good for sure. But so much fun. Ran into Greg Dolezal, spent some time with him, and the Kings, Kelvin and Janelle. There's probably 1,000 people, maybe somewhere around there, roughly. It could be either side, maybe a little north of that. But there were so many people, we never even saw Burt Jones. I know he was there.
Yeah, we were told that they scheduled for attendance was going to be 10 to 15 different politicians running for different offices. And so a very target-rich environment to get into and meet a whole bunch of people and make sure that the turnout needs to be where it needs to be.
Yeah, no doubt. So great food, great situation. They raised a lot of money to start the Officer Joe Burson Scholarship Fund in name of that fallen officer, and Steve Marcinko and his go-to lady, Maggie, who runs Rustics with him and runs that event with him. We're super satisfied. They closed the night with a huge, I bet they spent $25,000 on fireworks. I mean, it was a huge firework display over the lake.
It's like quietly kept.
Yeah.
Steve does it so big.
Yeah,
like
everything.
It's so big.
Everything's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you drive up and you're like, I didn't know this was all back here. And then you're like, whoa, okay.
That's right. And it just opens up and then it keeps going. He's building, and I look like put my foot in my mouth. I was telling Kelvin as we were standing there talking to Steve about the amphitheater that he's building on the backside of the property. I bet there's 250 acres out there with 3 chapels to do weddings and just all kinds of stuff, right? And he said, I asked him, I was like, how's that amphitheater coming along? His eyes, it's moving. I was like, man, Kelvin, this thing's going to have hold like 2,500 or, 5,000 people, I think. And Steve's like, looks at me and kind of crossed, like, insulted. He was like, I think you meant to say 20,000. And I was like, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, 20,000. That's exactly what I meant to say.
I can't believe that I stepped in it. Sorry.
20,000. I was like, where are you going to put 20,000 people? But sure enough, back there, look. I mean, it looks amazing. It does. He was like, well,
considering as much success as he's had in his industry and what he looks to give back, it's just the epitome of when you have somebody who talks about this stuff matters to him. Yeah, he proves it to you every year.
Yes, he does. He cares about his state, cares about his community, cares about the United States of America. And it was a wonderful event for everybody who came out, was able to talk to so many extra listeners that were winners. And that was so awesome, just spending time with people that share your values, which, I mean, that's the thing that we talk about all the time.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's what you're looking for. And was able to do that. So that was good. Now, I know you're on your hands and knees scrubbing and sanding and
working on that basement.
Dude, getting that basement square.
Got the sanding work done. Thank you to Herrera Drywall. They were awesome. And now as they were leaving, it was, all right, now it's on you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, now you get to that point, and now it's like, all right, well, let me just clean up the drywall sand. And so I was basically spending all of good portion of Saturday and then most of my Sunday getting all that stuff cleaned up, because then next we're going to paint. So it's just it was very nice to get a little break by watching a little Braves baseball and getting a little bit away from this stuff for at least a couple of hours.
The Braves could have swept the Red Sox.
Certainly could have.
You had the game on Saturday is the only one they lost, and it was a line drive up the middle that got literally hit Aroldis Chapman. And that's the reason
that it did not go through for the win.
It didn't go through for the win. It was just an easy toss after it hit him.
Can I bring up, because I know that Braves Twitter, Braves X, was going insane 3 weeks ago when it was like, we need to have a really serious talk about Austin Riley. I was like, what, you've never seen a cold start before?
For sure.
Like, you've never seen anything like...
Have you looked at everybody else's numbers that are picking him up?
Do we want to see what he's done since Colorado?
Yes, that's right.
And yesterday, once again... That was another no-doubter in the first inning, to go up 3-0 that quickly and to see on a 1-2 pitch, you're not supposed to hang it that badly. Boy, did Bio.
And when they do. And then how about Mike Yastrzemski?
Yeah, he's got that bat coming along, too.
That's another dude that has just been smoking hot as the Braves get that win yesterday, 8-1. And Riley's numbers are looking similar to what they did in the All-Star year. And the Braves.
It's now catching up. This is the best offense in baseball that's still missing Ronald Acuna Jr., which I think that'll be this week from all the indications that he'll be back. It's a lot of fun. And to think, the record is now 13-1-1 in series. You've lost one series all year. You split one of them, and you've won 13 of them. Like, that's ridiculous. That is the recipe for the 100-win season.
Yes,
So keep it going.
dude. It's so much fun to watch.
For anybody who thinks, hey, they're going to have like a 2-8 stretch in 10 games. Man, I don't know. The way they're swinging the bats and the way the pitching is going.
Dude, will it continue like this all season? No, they'll have a down at some point. They'll have a downturn, and then they'll build right back up. If there's anybody that has shown you that, it is Austin Riley. So when the team does it too, do not panic. Dude, it's going to be okay. What are they? Are they 10 games? 10 games in the lead? Is that the?
It's 8.
8. Okay.
Now here's the fun part about that. So if you just were to look to the north, to the city of Heathens, right now the Phillies, they went through the managerial change, went to Mattingly. They're 15-4 during that stretch now. They've made up half a game.
Yeah.
Half a game.
It has to be frustrating because you're like, we're playing good ball, and there's nothing we can do about
there's
it.
nothing that's happening.
I mean, we're handling our business. We're doing what we're supposed to do. But the Braves continue to win, and as they go down to Miami for 4 games, we'll probably beat up on a pretty decent little Marlins team.
Yeah, 21-26. You know, they're not at the bottom of the division, and they're certainly capable of doing some things to you. But this is a fun time because the Braves just went through a stretch where it was going to be one of their toughest of the season based on who they were playing and where they were playing. Now this is where things get easy for a little while, comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
You're going to play Miami, and then you get the Nationals as well. So it's just like I said. So it's a fun time to be watching a lot of those games when you get an opportunity to.
I'm pretty sure the Braves lead is larger than all of the other division leaders combined.
Wow.
Yep.
How about that? Dude, I love it. And how about the hailstorm yesterday?
Man, that was awesome.
It was so random because we were sitting on the front porch as it starts, and Jacob's like, they're putting the tarp on the field. He's like, it's pouring rain down. And then he goes, wait, no, it's not rain at all. It's hail. I was like, where did this come from? Did anybody know about the pop-up storm?
So I took the dog out right around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the afternoon. She ran across the street because she didn't have her restraining collar. So I had to go get her out of the yard. By the time I get her inside, I'm hearing like this, like a little bit of rolling weather. Yeah. I'm like, what is that? I was like, we were thinking about going to the pool.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all right. I went out on the back deck as I'm like getting all the tarps out of the house and everything else. And you see just kind of like the wind start changing. You're like, what is this? Man, that thing blew through. It had all the trees moving.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Sideways rain.
I was taking a nap and it woke me up.
It was awesome.
Street. Oh, yeah. And it was still sunny. That was the crazy thing. Like, it didn't show up on TV, but down here it was still sunny while it was hailing.
Yeah, big blasts of lightning and thunder. It's like,
We didn't get anything. At our house, we got nothing.
Oh,
The wind picked up a little bit, like as we were eating, because we ate on the back deck, so the wind picked up just a little bit. And then it died off and went away and nothing. It was done and over with. But yeah, it was
well,
crazy.
if you caught it, it was pretty cool for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then gone.
It was just, that was it.
Lickety split, just gone. Last night, stayed up too late watching the Academy of Country Music Awards. I'm going to make one comparison that anybody that keeps up with country music at all will probably go, oh, I can kind of see that. Back in the day, Toby Keith used to never go to the award shows because he would never win. He would have the biggest year, he would have the biggest tour, he'd have the biggest song, and he would never win. Now that has been handed off to Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I wonder why.
Morgan Wallen, biggest tour, 2 sold-out nights down in the swamp. He's got 2 sold-out nights in Clemson, South Carolina.
We had some friends that made that show.
Dude.
They loved it.
Everybody said it is amazing. My son's girlfriend went night 1. His girlfriend's sister went night 2. And, Tim Tebow, Steve Spurrier, just gigantic. And Morgan Wallen, 0 for 4 last night at the Academy of Country Music Awards, including Entertainer of the Year.
Well, that's going to be his lot.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. That's why he never goes. He never goes to any of those shows. Why would you?
It's like, I'm not playing the game. And you caught me on a video having a good time.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's enough.
I've done my time. I've said my sorries.
What more do you want?
Yeah, what more do you want?
All I've ever asked is this, and this was tied to some stuff in sports. I would say, because there would be like an athlete that would get in trouble, and most notably, I remember it was Joe Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon was in a bar in college. On video, a girl called him a racial slur, like right to his face, and he hit her. Now, he shouldn't have hit her, ever.
Yeah, of course.
But that turned into, all right, your college football career is over. And when he entered into the draft process, my point was, tell me what the pound of flesh is. And
yeah, what's the penance? What do you have to pay?
And then once that happens, is he then clear?
Never.
And that was the problem. It said everyone's like, he should lose his career. I'm like, well, he's not going to lose his career. In fact, he's still playing in the league. Like, he's going to play his 10 years in the league. But it's always, tell me what the penance is. And then once we are straight, we're straight. Well, that's the issue with some of this stuff. They'll be like, you'll never pay it back.
You'll never pay it back. And that's exactly what Morgan wants. Like, the stories that never get out there are last week, Morgan had been and done a show at the Big House up in Michigan. Family, someone, radio station, somebody got a hold of him and said, hey, there's this little boy, he's dying of cancer, and he would like to come see you. He's huge fan. And they did. The little boy came. Sweet moment, whatever. Well, ultimately, the kid passes. Morgan takes care of everything. All the funeral arrangement, pays for everything. Never wants a story because he didn't want it out there, right? He didn't do it for that. And yet, nobody knows about this. I learned through a mutual acquaintance. I was like, holy cow. This is the stuff that he never gets credit for.
So it's been a good 25, 30 years. It's hard to remember back to when Charles Barkley was like the enemy of all sports.
Yeah.
Remember, he did the commercial,
yeah.
I'm not a role model, parents should be role models.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Chuck Barkley's horrible. Did you hear how he threw a guy through a window at a bar? And Barkley's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
Well, so now he's got 30 years on television of everyone loving Charles Barkley.
Because he's so funny and witty.
What people didn't know is that Charles Barkley was already one of the most super giving guys in the league, quietly.
Oh, see.
Back when he was in Houston, we had a family friend. Her father was dying of cancer, and he found out about it. He's like, what does he like to do? He's like, likes to gamble. Chuck set him up in Vegas.
Wow.
Never said anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Did it as a family situation for him to go out with one big old final trip.
Yeah.
Chuck Barkley has done that so many times.
I'm sure.
Same with guys like Shaq, guys like him.
Shaq's the exact same way.
You never hear about that stuff.
No, of course not.
But that's kind of the game.
I know. But, once they've decided you're bad, it takes, like, with Barkley, I'm glad that people finally came around. But not everybody gets that grace.
No. And that's, quite honestly, that's fine. You have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Absolutely.
You're not going to make everybody happy, everybody smile
that's
about
right.
stuff.
Absolutely right. No one's going to love you every second of every day.
Yes, like
they're going to find ways to nitpick you.
Like when I go to bed at night, I don't think, I wonder if I said something that was offensive this morning. I'm like, nah.
Me either.
I was
why would you?
Why would I care?
Why would you stew on that? Like, why would you let that live rent free?
I was busy being the guy who said, hey, I'll make the trip to go pick up all the girls and just whatever I can do to help on other things. When I go to bed at night, didn't matter what I got into in the morning, I'm happy.
That's right. Absolutely.
So be happy being you.
And I think Morgan Wallen's probably that too, because he just sold out 2 nights in the
exactly.
swamp, and he's got 2 more nights in Clemson. Down in Alabama, Tuscaloosa.
The industry won't give me my flowers. All right, fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'll buy my own flowers. I don't need your flowers. I don't need any of that stuff. And it's funny because my son and I, who loves country music as well, he was a way late adopter, but he loves it. He's like, the guy that won Entertainer of the Year is a guy named Cody Johnson, Texas dude, and he is so
at the Braves Country Fest.
Freaking good. He is playing Braves Country Fest. Ella Langley, the biggest winner of the night, also part of Braves Country Fest. So 2 of the biggest stars in all of country music will be here in less than a month. So you should go to the show. It's going to be great. And Cody is like so deserving. He's such a good dude. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, there's an asterisk. Beside the guy's name who doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve an asterisk because he's that talented and he's incredible. Dude he was a prison guard. He was a firefighter. He's a cowboy, rides horses and rodeos and all that stuff. Incredible dude. Music's great. And I couldn't help but see the asterisk, unfortunately, because of the way that industry works. And I love it and I hate it at the exact same time. If you can do both, I do both.
Just going to say, great basketball lawn for the next couple of days.
There you go.
Great basketball. Spurs
right.
Thunder is going to be awesome. Peak TV.
8:30.
Can't wait.
Tell my family, leave me alone. 8:30 tonight.
That's right.
I will not be available until sometime after midnight.
I see all those games coming down to the final 5 minutes.
Daddy is busy.
I'm busy.
Door is closed.
It's been a while.
Daddy's in business right
It's been
now.
almost a decade since it's been in the West Finals.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. Candidate for Georgia Secretary of State Kelvin King asked for your vote this morning on Extra 106.3. Decision 2026 coverage is live on Extra 106.3 this Tuesday night. Hey, it's Tug. Join me and Los from the Morning Extra for election coverage, expert analysis, and reaction from across Georgia. Plus, hear a live commentary from the Kimmer, the Talkmaster Neil Bortz, and Victor Armanderas throughout the evening. Stay connected with the station that Atlanta turns to for talk. This Tuesday night, 6 to 8, only on Extra 106.3. Do not miss it tomorrow night, primary night, with all the races that are going on here in the state of Georgia. It'll be fun to talk about. The whole hee-haw gang will be here. I am Tug, and I need to tell you about Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Yeah, you don't see the yellow pollen anymore. You don't see it like we did, where it was painted on, caked on the cars and everything. But allergy season is still in full swing. Yesterday at church, our poor pastor, man, he was just trying to battle through. And, he wears the headset microphone thing. And all you could hear was every 2 or 3 lines. Exactly, yes, Bryce, exactly. And he kept saying, "Excuse me, I'm sorry." And I don't know what kind of HVAC system they got at Perimeter in Johns Creek, but they need to call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team can help them a little bit, maybe keep all those allergens out. You can do that too at your house. Make sure that the air is pure, that you're breathing, Whole home filtration, help your family, help your kids, help the pets. And if you're getting a refund from Uncle Sam, might be a good investment. A tax refund upgrade is a smart investment. How do you do that? Well, you call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
A journey from alone and abandoned to one of the most successful businessmen in Georgia history. Conservative Rick Jackson.
I spent Christmas Eve alone in a children's home. When I woke up, a Good Samaritan had left me $100.
Rick Jackson knows what it's like to go without. That's why he'll fight the career politicians who talk about cutting income taxes and property taxes, but always fail.
Unlike career politicians, I know how some extra money can change everything. That's why I'll freeze your property taxes and slash the income tax in half.
Conservative businessman Rick Jackson will deliver major property tax relief that failed career politicians never will.
I'll get you a boatload of your money back, or I won't run again. It's as simple as that.
No more waiting and wavering from career politicians. It's time for real tax relief. Rick Jackson for Georgia. Paid for by Rick Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Don't believe this nonsense you see on TV commercials about how uncomfortable a CPAP mask is. Take it from me. You wear one, especially the nasal pillow I use, for one night, and you will fight anybody that tries to take it away from you. But if they do take it away from you, you can get more at cpapsetcetera.com, cpapsetc.com, with a store in Alpharetta, same-day shipping. To your health, cpapsetc.com.
Does the constant news cycle leave you anxious about your retirement? Between economic uncertainty and market swings, it's easy to feel on edge. But at Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we believe headlines shouldn't dictate your financial future. I'm Evan Friggs. My father Mark and I focus on building rock-solid, holistic retirement strategies. We look beyond basic investments to create a comprehensive roadmap covering income, taxes, healthcare, and legacy planning. You can't control the economy, but you can control your preparedness. Stop guessing and start planning. Schedule your complimentary consultation by visiting masterplanretire.com. Secure your peace of mind today. That's masterplanretire.com.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
If you got a chance.
Join us Saturday, June 13th as the Atlanta Braves and Live Nation host the first ever Braves Country Fest, presented by Truist. A celebration of Braves baseball and country music featuring Cody Johnson and Ella Langley, along with Ernest and Mackenzie Carpenter, as well as musical performances and activities inside the Battery Atlanta. A portion of proceeds benefit the Atlanta Braves Foundation. Get your tickets at braves.com/Braves Country Fest.
Hey, it's Front Office Los with Tom, the honest car guy. Let's talk about the new way to buy a car in 2026. Tell me how you can save clients thousands of dollars in this process.
I got a customer here, Jeff Everhart. I met him today first time because I delivered his 25 model Honda Pilot, fully loaded with only 16,000 miles on it. Jeff, answer Los's question about that one.
It was actually shocking. I mean, you hear the advertisements, you want to believe it, and then when you go through with the sale, and there's no extras, there's no dock fees, there's no storage fees, no transportation fees. The price I was given is the price that I paid plus their honest fee. I did save thousands of dollars, and it was a very quick sale.
Well, we appreciate that.
And did it from my living room.
Did it from your living room.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, May 18th, and here are your headlines. The 61st ACM Awards, hosted by Shania Twain, took over Las Vegas on Sunday night as country music's biggest stars celebrated the year's top artists and performances. Ella Langley led the night with 5 wins, including Female Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and Single of the Year, while Cody Johnson took home Entertainer of the Year. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is extending the state gas tax suspension as Memorial Day travel approaches. Kemp says the move is intended to provide relief to drivers as gas prices continue to rise, with the suspension now lasting through June 3rd. The original suspension was put in place earlier this year amid rising fuel prices tied to the war in Iran. And finally, Marietta school football players packed more than 10,000 meals for people in need during a community service event over the weekend. The meals will support local food banks and families living in refugee camps living near the U.S.-Mexico border. Coaches and players say the event was building character and giving back to the community beyond football. There's plenty of sunshine today with a high of 90 and a low of 66, so bring out the shorts and swimwear. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
So we've had so many candidates in on the Morning Extra, and it has been a huge success, and we're very proud of it. But the difference in today is it's not just candidate, it's friend of the show, and a guy that we have been connected with for years now. Running for Secretary of State, asking for your vote this morning is Kelvin King. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning. Tug Los, it's great to be here again. I love coming and hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, we love having you, man.
I still think about how on Inauguration Day you were in here, and at one point we talked about how, are you ever going to consider running for office? And you made the point, well, if I feel called to, then I'll do it. It's not something that I'm just aspiring to just hold some sort of office. And we were talking during the break about the positivity that you're getting as part of this campaign from people when you go and speak to. Talk about that, because you had a great church story and how the congregation, by the time they were all into local, right, and so they couldn't wait to talk to you.
Yeah, there's a local church on the corner gathering, and I thought I was putting up a 3x4 sign in front of the Dickey property, because David Dickey allowed me to put up a sign. He's supportive of my campaign as well, which I'm very grateful for. But unfortunately, I misread the property lines. And when I put up the sign, it was put up on a church property.
Initially, the moment,
right,
because of all the rules and laws according to signage.
Right, but the church they reached out to me, and I had a conversation with the guy, and the assistant pastor said, "Wait, don't take it down yet. I just want to make sure."
That's right. Let's see if our values.
We might be able to get something out of this.
Right. He was like, "Let me just see where you stand, where you're coming from." And we spoke about my campaign. Found out that he was a Republican as well, and he was involved with some local politics. And he was like, "Man, I love what you're saying. We need people like you in this seat." And he was like, "No, just leave it there." And I'm thinking to myself, man, so many fortunate moments have occurred during this campaign that's so encouraging to me and my family that we know we're doing the right thing. There's no doubt in my mind, and we're just gaining momentum as Election Day approaches.
God, I love it. Kelvin King, who's running for Secretary of State on the Morning Xtra, Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. Are there others like that? Because I think that's fascinating, and I think that's encouraging for people to hear.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking for positivity, Kelvin.
Yeah.
We got negativity all around. Anywhere you look, it doesn't matter if it's on the TV, on your phone, computer, wherever. There's so much negativity. I think people are drawn to positive, and I know how positive you are as a guy, and I know how positive your wife is as a person. So talk about those other instances where you go, I know we're doing the right thing.
Well, I meet a lot of people that sometimes when we're not feeling all that great, or maybe a little. We've never been discouraged. Just some days are less energy than other days, and we meet people on the trail that just remotivates you. I met one of the first female fighter pilots in the Navy over in LaGrange area, and I mean the story she was telling me was just so I just admired her and her path. I met a guy just last night who said, "Hey, do you know Dean Wilson?" I'm thinking to myself, I don't know who Dean Wilson is. His name was Kurt Wilson. I was like, it sounds familiar because it sounded familiar. Like when I went to the Air Force Academy, and that name sounded familiar. He was like, "Yeah, he was an instructor at the Air Force Academy. He's since passed, but that was my brother, and he was very supportive of my campaign." And like the people that you meet, that you have a connection with, that is really what motivates you. These are real Georgians with real stories, real experiences, real challenges. And it's great to hear the challenges and to hear how they may have overcome the challenges. But what inspires me is that now I, as Secretary of State, I can put things in place. I can do things that will maybe reduce some of the challenges that they're incurring. So, it's just awesome to go on the campaign trail. I met a guy whose father was a hero in World War II. He was talking to me about flying I don't want to get it wrong. B-17s, I believe.
What war?
War II.
Oh, B-52s.
No, not B-52s.
Okay.
World War II was B-17s.
Yeah, Flying Fortress, yeah.
But his dad was a pilot, and he told me some stories that I'm thinking, man, did you know your dad was a hero?
Yeah, it makes the hair on the back of your neck.
Yeah, and he said, yes, sir. I mean, he was an older gentleman, but people feel like they're willing to open up when we come into the room. They want to tell us about their American why, and I think it's just so timely because this is our 250th anniversary of the founding of our country, and I think right now a lot of people are starting to kind of understand. Maybe our country was not what they taught us in school. Maybe our country was created from a ragtag group of citizens who saw that they were being persecuted by a British king with no representation, and they decided to be patriots for their country and their parents' country. Because it's not like it was only one generation here. There were several generations here. This was their country, and they were being, just tormented by Britain. And I think today we see patriots. And I think we see loyalists. And I think the loyalists are the people who are bought into the system, bought into the establishment, that won't change things for the betterment of the people, that won't answer questions when the people have questions, particularly when it comes to our elections. We've got to get rid of that.
I love that comparison.
We've got to get rid of the loyalists. And my wife is actually going to be doing a show that talks about patriots and loyalists over the weekend. So I think it's a timely intro.
We are extreme nerds when it comes to the American Revolution, the founding of this country. I love the story. And to think that you had about a third of the country that looked at it as Britons are sovereign, and you should be loyal. A third that looked at it as we are being persecuted, we should seek our own country. And a third that basically said, I don't want any part of any of this stuff. To think that when you're on the trail, it's about oftentimes getting that third who says, you know what, politics never helps me. Getting a chance to meet you and say, here's how it can help you.
Right, yeah. Having that conversation and bringing politics to the individual. And I think the Secretary of State's office is really good at that because it handles like your whole professional career. It's involving your whole from your ability to vote, which is our most sacred right, our ability to vote and make a statement, and where the people really control our government. The Secretary of State's office is also responsible for occupational licensing. That's our ability to make a living for ourselves. I mean, we're a capitalist society, right? We want to go out into the market and figure out what we can do. We want to work hard. I want to outwork you, Tug, and I'm going to make more money than you. And then you're going to say, I'm outworking you, Kelvin.
I want more than he's got.
Right. That's a beautiful part of controlling competition within a capitalistic structure. The Secretary of State's office is responsible for allowing that business establishment and licenses. And then once you've voted, you've worked your butt off in your career, you want to have some savings and retirement to lean on, right? The fruits of your labor. The Secretary of State's office is responsible for that as well by overseeing the Georgia Securities Act. So this role, a lot of people don't understand how impactful this role is as Secretary of State. I say it's the most consequential race of 2026 because everything that I just mentioned, it's all in the news. We're talking about our elections. We're talking about, Georgia being the best state to do business in, so to speak, which I think that can be improved.
Well, but maybe go into that. Let's talk about that. From when you're elected to the Secretary of State's office, what is it that you do as the Secretary of State to make Georgia the best place to do business? How do you do that? What are your plans?
Right. So I'm a little bit of a policy nerd at times. The Georgia Public Policy Foundation, they put out a lot of good information, studies, and that sort of thing. And one of the things that kind of caught my eye about 6-8 months ago, they put out a study that said that when it comes to red tape and bureaucracy of our government, however they measured it, Georgia was ranked in the bottom 4 states in our country. And that kind of threw me off because it didn't seem consistent with what we've been told about the number 1 state to do business in.
And especially with you as a business owner.
Exactly. And I understand the licensing processes. I'm a general contractor. I had to go through the licensing board. I had to go through the testing and pass the test and all that kind of stuff, get the references and update and maintain my license every year. So that's real close. I mean, that's important to me.
We're just talking about making what you would do in office to make Georgia the best.
So knowing that and being within that process and system, I saw immediately ways to improve the responsiveness of the business services side of the Secretary of State's office. I was called when I announced to run for Secretary of State by a dozen or so subcontractors saying that it takes too long to get my licenses approved. That's the number 1 complaint. So under a King administration, I'm going to implement what I call industry liaisons. An industry liaison is basically a person that could kind of manage 4 or 5 trades, 4 or 5 licensors, like public utilities, general contractor, plumbing, and it'll be one person. And they'll actually be there taking phone calls, guiding citizens when they have questions about their licensing or their business formation. Just somebody that can give them customer service right now. Because the number 1 complaint is that you can't get a person to answer the phone call when you call the Secretary of State's office. It's difficult to navigate their website. The GOALS, the GOALS system isn't functional. It's so many impediments for businesses when we know already business is already hard. I don't want you as a business owner to fight the monsters out here in the market and then have to fight the government that you pay for.
Well, what we hear is, and this is a lot of small business owners in the state of Georgia, they talk about it feels like there's gatekeepers to their success.
Yes, sir.
Like, how hard is it to actually get a hold of somebody? Kelvin King, running for Secretary of State, is our guest in studio. Tug and I always joke around, and we use country music oftentimes. We said we were country when country wasn't cool.
Yes, sir.
I feel like we were, there are issues that we have talked about for years that people have turned us off on, don't want to hear about. I think you were doing that as well when you brought up the Dominion voting system.
Yes,
and here's some of the answers to this. How much are you hearing about that on the trail? Because I think we're now in a discussion point in the state of Georgia where people are saying, hey, why don't we do something that it might be a little bit more radical, but the state is probably ready for it now, which maybe 2 or 3 years ago they didn't want to hear about.
Right. It was not a popular conversation over the last couple of years, but it's been gaining in popularity. And I think the main reason why is because those patriots who found the irregularities in 2024 that were all substantiated, by the way, they didn't go away. They didn't stop fighting for people to listen to them. They didn't stop fighting, approaching their elected officials to see if the elected officials will make a move and do something to protect our voting system. I'm grateful to those fighters and those patriots. Those are modern day patriots. Now, when I talk about the Dominion system, I don't get a whole lot of smirks or, being discounted anymore because I try to make it make sense. So
yeah, that was 3 years ago when everybody looked at us like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, you'll come around.
So the way to make it make sense.
Just wait.
Right. The way to make it make sense is to look at where is the law being violated and where are the points in the voting process that's most susceptible to, to funny business.
That's right. Absolutely.
So what I always talk about, I think I said this with you all, there's areas where it's called a chain of custody.
Yes.
Your vote, the only reason and way that your vote is going to count is to maintain that chain of custody, meaning the original source document that the voter completes, preferably by hand. Right now, we don't do it by hand, and I'll explain that in just a second. That ballot has to maintain the voter's intent throughout the whole tabulation process and tallying process of the vote. We don't have that right now, y'all. When we go vote, first of all, we don't do hand-marked paper ballots. We do machine ballots. It's called a ballot marking machine. We are the only state in the United States that uses this machine for every voter in the state. That is weird. And it's outdated Dominion software.
Oh, we learned
about that, how if you make a change to the system software at any point, whether it's to fix something or not, there's not even a log kept
on the back end
of who makes the change.
No idea.
The software's way out of date.
Okay, let me just finish that process. So a voter goes into the precinct, shows ID. The poll worker looks at the ID and matches that voter with a registered voter list. Make sure that they are a qualified voter. Then the poll worker gives that voter a card. That card they take over to the ballot marking device or machine, and the ballot pops up once you insert the card. Then that's when you hit the touch screen and you make your voting selections, right? We all just did this. Right. And you have governor, lieutenant governor, and I hope you select Kelvin King for Secretary of State. And then you hit print ballot. That is when you're supposed to review your ballot. That's where you read the text of your selections. And the text of your selections should be accurate.
It should match it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then then the poll worker says, insert this paper into the scanner.
Right.
Well, that is when your chain of custody is broken.
Right.
Because the scanner doesn't read the text that you just verified. The scanner reads the QR code. And you can't verify
There's
QR
no way
code
for you to know.
because humans can't read a QR code.
Yeah. Yep.
So that is a break of chain of custody. And people may ask, well, has there been any issues with it? Yes.
As a matter of fact.
And again, that was the 3-year conversation that we were having that no one wanted to hear about until now. Again, we said country when country wasn't cool. People are now figuring out, this QR code, maybe you guys are right about this.
Speaking of country, Janelle and I, we are so into Chris Stapleton right now.
Dude, so good.
I don't know
Dude, it's so good.
How did you keep this from us, dude?
I ain't trying to keep it from nobody. I ain't keeping it from nobody. Dude, that guy is unbelievable.
The Higher album?
Oh, my goodness. So good. Absolutely.
Anyway.
Dude, we can talk country music all day. We ain't going to talk about your election.
We've got another segment.
Matter of fact, let's take a break and we'll come back and talk about voting by hand and more maybe about Chris Stapleton. I don't know. I mean, it could
go any direction, really.
You just don't know what's going to happen. Our guest is Kelvin King. He is running for Secretary of State in the state of Georgia. He's asking for your vote this morning on the Morning Extra, and we will be right back.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, May 18th. The Atlanta Braves remain the best team in baseball after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox over the weekend at Truist Park. 8-1 the final yesterday afternoon. The Braves now head to Miami for a 4-game series with the Marlins starting tonight. It'll be J.R. Ritchie on the mound against Max Meyer. First pitch is set for 6:40. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and free on the Fan app. Aaron Rai won the PGA Championship after shooting a final round 65 yesterday. He wins the tournament by 3 strokes over John Rahm and Alex Smalley. And from the NBA, the Western Conference Finals start tonight as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the San Antonio Spurs. That tip-off is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Are you paying too much in taxes? Most people are, and they don't even realize it. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president of Nicholas Wealth Management. Every year, hardworking individuals and business owners send more money to the IRS than they legally have to. I hate to see it. Not because they did anything wrong, but because the tax code is complex. It's always changing, and it's full of opportunities most people never hear about. So here's the real question. Could you be paying less in taxes? With the right strategy, many people can. Through smarter planning, overlooked deductions, and better retirement and income decisions, you can win in retirement. That's why we're offering a complimentary tax analysis. No cost, no obligation, just a clear look at where you may be overpaying and what you can do about it. Stop guessing, get answers. Call Nicholas Wealth Management 678-990-8500, 678-990-8500, or visit nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm. This is for informational purposes only and is not specific investment advice.
Well, summer's coming, and your old windows still have your AC working overtime before long. Hey, it's Kimmer. How you doing? If we're talking windows, I'm talking about my friend Jeff at Peach State Windows. You know, you spend more cooling your home than heating it, and Peach State's heat-reflective glass keeps the brutal sun out and your bills down. Right now, how about this? 8 premium double-hung Energy Star windows installed for just $39.95. How about 0% financing for 12 months? 770-485-8011. PeachStateWindows.com.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
It's Staples' 40th anniversary, and they've got deals worth celebrating. Now through May 23rd, enjoy up to 50% off. Save on paper, chairs, custom print, balloons, and more. Staples, that was easy.
Tug and Los on Xtra 1063. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand to anything that you might have missed this morning. Our guest, running for Secretary of State, Kelvin King, on the show. We finished off, and we'll get maybe back in with some Chris Stapleton conversation because
we'll do the back end. Because this man has some answers.
He's got some things that he wants to talk. No, so good. He wants to talk to you about, and he wants to ask for your vote, and the reason that he wants to ask for your vote. And you're talking about when we finished up that segment, voting by hand, and the importance of that. Because when I went and voted, it's funny you talked about the breaking of the chain of custody. Because when I scanned that, the paper, I was like, man, this is a lot of hoops to jump through.
I know.
Why don't I just write it down like an old like old school? Like, can I just check the box and y'all put it in there?
And I think the scariest part is that nobody can explain to us
why we do it that way.
Yeah, why and how their vote is counted. Like nobody knows what happens to their vote. Like that's scary to me.
That's nuts.
Even the election workers, they can't explain the processes of what happens. The entire process of what happens. That's why we just have to go back to common sense. Hand-marked paper ballots, we can do it. The Secretary of State's cost with the million can be severed, and that $2.5 million annual payment that they pay for maintenance and software and blah, 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 that can be saved. You can pay for a lot of paper with $2.5 million.
Yeah, sounds right. It's funny, though, you say that because the poll worker who is the nicest that everybody, I'll say, everybody I encountered yesterday was so sweet. Everybody was so helpful, so caring and kind. But when I got through there and got the scanner, they're like, you're going to be number 1390. That's how you know your ballot was counted. And
what does that mean?
Exactly. Right. My question exactly. I had no idea what that means.
I guess.
But she said it with such conviction, Kelvin.
Can I put it on my sticker? Yeah, exactly. I voted. I'm number 1390.
And where do I go check ballot number 1390?
To verify that. Correct. But under my administration, we're going to clean up all that. We're going to make sure that our votes are trusted. We're going to make sure we use hand-marked paper ballots. We're not going to use the Dominion voting machine. My expertise is government contracting. I was a contracting officer in the Air Force, so I know how to put together government requirements, and I can review a contract better than anybody else. So I'm going to review this contract, which I already have, by the way, and I see exit clauses where we can remove ourselves legally. We can implement hand-marked paper ballots legally because we have something in our current code that allows for emergency procedures to utilize hand-marked paper ballots, which it may happen sooner than we think. I hope so, but I'm just telling you, as Secretary of State, I will have that in place, and we will have trusted elections. And now some people say, well, will we have election night results? Yeah. We will, because we can still do a tabulation locally with a machine on election night, and we can post those results. But that election will not be certified until they do a hand count, and they have about a week to do that. So our system is set up right now to successfully administer our elections using hand-marked paper ballots. But why aren't we doing it? Because we don't have courage, we don't have the will, and we don't have leadership in these seats to make these decisions. Because this is what the people want. You know, half of our state believes that our elections are honest, true, fair, that their vote count. The other half doesn't. We've got to bring
you got them in the room.
We've got to bring them together, though.
Hand is raised.
And the best way to bring them together is to have a hand-marked paper ballot system that's certified a week later and that's verified by hand counting. We can do audits all day long. I believe in real audits. Right now, the Secretary of State's office does something called RLAs, risk limiting audits. That's misleading to the people because a risk limiting audit only takes samples here or there, batch samples. Sometimes you just take back samples from where you think the voting went well.
Thank you. From certain counties, certain areas where you go, there's probably nothing here. Right, but they're not looking in Fulton County where you might have some questions.
Dude, it's about integrity, Los. We need leadership, man. Our current administration is not doing the job, and they're not getting support from any of the leaders, from governor's office, attorney general's office, or the Secretary of State's office. That's why me, as hopefully your next Secretary of State, will change things. I'm the only candidate that's ever campaigned across the state, statewide, every county, all 159 counties. I'm the only military officer or former military officer running. So I'm running with certain core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Those are the Air Force core values. That's going to be the new core values under my administration. I'm the only candidate that believes the state elections board should be separate and have power to oversee and provide checks and balances over the Secretary of State's office to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. I don't trust any individual with unfettered power, unlimited power, and neither did our forefathers. So we need oversight.
Kelvin King is our guest running for Secretary of State. I just find it wild that as my parents get to an older age and the protection of their finances and the responsibility of the Secretary of State's office is such, it's an everyday big deal. The business licensing is an everyday big deal. But because of our history with elections in the last couple of years, it feels like that's the primary.
It's outweighed.
It just outweighs the other two, which the other ones are really big deals. I wanted to get a chance to hit this as we get to the end of the segment. So Tug consistently brings in like new country to me on a regular basis. He'll be like, what about this? Why don't we try this? The minute you asked about Chris Stapleton, the look on Tug's face of, oh, finally, somebody bringing country music to me.
Let me show you that I'm not lying.
No,
okay?
Dude, if there's anything that I trust, it's you.
That's Collective Soul right there.
Right.
Shine. That's my campaign song.
Which is great because when he wrote that song, the singer for the band wrote it because he's from Atlanta. His daddy was a Methodist preacher, and he said, you know what you've written, don't you? You've written a prayer. That's what that song is.
It is, man.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dude, and you said the most recent one was Broken Halos.
Broken.
So
Dude, I love Broken Halos. So good. That whole record is so incredible. If you want to go back, go get some old Chris Stapleton. One of his first singles is a song called What Are You Listening To? And he's talking about his girl.
Okay.
They've broken up. What are you listening to? Does it remind you of me? Does, and the things we used to, it's just incredible song.
Okay, well,
that's so good.
That begs a question for me. So considering how much you've been around the state, that's a lot of windshield time, getting a chance to meet a lot of people.
Yes, sir.
All right, so is it like just a bunch of different albums, and different podcasts? How does Kelvin King find a way to kill the time?
Or is it just quiet?
No, dude, it's all of the above because I usually travel with my wife. We just do most things together.
Yeah,
we really like each other.
Yeah, which is a benefit.
right. I was gonna say, most of the time, my wife doesn't talk to me on long road trips. It's different. The Kings talk.
But there's been periods, especially when we're contemplating, like if something big is about to happen or just happened, or I got to get my head right, it'll be silence. Yeah. It's like game day. I played football in college, and you put your headphones on before the game because you're trying to get in the zone.
That's right.
She respects that. Like, she understands that. Sometimes we listen to country music. Chris Stapleton. We're not really like country music.
I'm going to introduce all kinds of stuff.
You got the foot. You got the foot in the door.
Now you're easing in. You might as well just kick the door.
And obviously, we're on the phone a lot, talking to various people. And we keep up with our our children.
Yeah.
Our son
got a new grandma.
Yeah, dude. He and his wife just had a new their first child 2 months ago. A little girl, Gianna.
So precious.
And man, like that's where we want to spend our time. Is just talking to them, especially my wife. My wife is just enamored. Like,
I guess so.
Like she's like, Kelvin, you can go figure out how to eat.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go take care of the baby. Yeah. But it's a great blessing. My family's been blessed. So when I ran for U.S. Senate 4 years ago, that was a tough race. We didn't come close to winning. Herschel Walker defeated everybody in that primary. It wasn't even close. But my son found Jesus during that race. I think I told you about that.
Yes.
And after the race, I focused on my company. My company is doing way better than it's ever done.
Timing.
And
all in his timing.
It's in God's timing, man.
That's right.
My family is stable. It's prepared me to make this run. I'm not sacrificing anything that shouldn't be sacrificed other than my time to run into this race. I've actually put my treasure into this race. The Lord has blessed me with a successful company. I pretty much self-funded my race.
Wow.
And that's why I would say we're leading. I definitely know we have the momentum.
Yeah, well, because we learned that Kelvin has attack ads now. That's something we didn't know.
And they're attacking me.
When they hate you, it's because you're doing well.
That's exactly right, dude. Continued success.
I'm honored.
Where can folks find you online?
Yeah. Please go to kelvinking.com. You can follow us, watch all different types of cool videos, but go vote. Tuesday's election day. Vote for Kelvin King as your next Secretary of State.
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. And remember, tomorrow night we will be doing a big primary show from 6 to 8. It'll be the whole hee-haw gang. Kimmer, Flounder, Pete, Victor, me, Los, everybody. Everybody will be here. So be sure to take part of that tomorrow. That'll be from 6 until 8 here on Xtra. When we come back, the tale of Louisiana is not a hard one to understand. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
In a time when everything feels political, one place must rise above it all. The courtroom, where the law rules and integrity matters. In 2020, Georgians came together, electing a justice who believes in protecting our courts.
I'm Georgia Supreme Court Justice Sarah Warren, and here's what I believe. I believe in the rule of law, the separation of powers, and a judge's limited role to interpret the law as written. I believe in a nonpartisan judiciary, impartial judges who don't advocate for political positions or outcomes. I believe in deciding cases without bias or favor, treating everyone with dignity and respect. As a justice on your Supreme Court, I've upheld these values. With your support, we'll maintain the integrity of our courts.
Vote to re-elect Justice Sarah Warren. Vote early starting April 27th or on Election Day, May 19th. Paid for by Georgians for Justice Warren, Inc.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and I'm here with Ron. And I'll let Ron tell you a little bit about his experience with us, and not only that, but the differences between a new car dealership and the honest car guy, because there is a difference, with no doc fees and no addendums. It's kind of straightforward. They get to see what we pay for the car, and that's not something you get at a dealership.
Usually we're back and forth, and then you get like 1,400 pages of paper. And in this case, we did it all online. I mean, it was like, okay, I don't mind doing paperwork once I know that this is the deal.
And you got to see the financing, the numbers up
see all
front
of it
before you even bought it. You can make that call, and within hours, we can find you the car you want from your home. I mean, I had a customer call me up and say, hey, I bought a car in my pajamas.
If I'd have had some, I'd have been wearing them.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app. The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Time is of the essence. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump wrote that on Truth Social in all caps, warning Iran the clock is ticking and they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them.
The president's post comes as reports indicate the Iranians have submitted a revised proposal to Pakistani mediators aimed at addressing some of the gaps in their previous response that President Trump described as a piece of garbage.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv.
If the war does resume, we're likely looking at a scenario where there are joint U.S. and Israeli strikes hammering the Iranian regime, not just around the capital of Tehran, but also in other key areas, especially along that western coast near to the Strait of Hormuz, where the Iranians still have some smaller cruise missiles and abilities to target international shipping lanes.
Oil prices rising another 1% this morning. That cruise ship stricken by the hantavirus got to its final destination this morning, docking in the Netherlands, where the crew will be quarantined. The ship will be disinfected. 3 people on board died. A Canadian passenger tested positive, and 18 Americans taken off the ship are isolated as a precaution in Georgia and Nebraska. There is another virus outbreak in Africa, Ebola.
Hundreds of suspected cases and at least 80 deaths, with a warning that things could get worse. The outbreak of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda is now classed by the World Health Organization as an international emergency. It says the outbreak could already be much larger than detected. The WHO also believes there's a significant risk of local and regional spread. It's urging affected countries to activate emergency procedures and screening.
Jonathan Savage. 3 juveniles in custody in Austin, Texas, after a shooting spree over the weekend, leaving 4 people injured, 1 critically. The teenagers are accused of stealing multiple cars and shooting at people and homes and fire stations. As for why, Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis says,
I don't know what motive would drive anybody to come and drive around senselessly in this city and in multiple parts of the city shooting.
America's listening to Fox News.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4-RELIEF.
Extra 106.3 wants to know, is this what you voted for? Call 404-741-1230 and let us know on the Morning Extra.
Tug and Los saying morning, y'all, on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. So proud that you're here. Grateful that you're spending time with us. Grateful that you care about our great nation, our great state, and the community that you live in here in town. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Tomorrow night, 6 to 8, we will do a primary show. And, the whole Hee Haw gang will be out with us. Get Kimmer and Flounder, and then we get Pete to check in from the mountains of Macon. And you just can't ever tell what's going to happen. But should be a nice evening, fun time talking about races across the state of Georgia.
I did get an invite to the Dolezal party.
Okay.
But I guess I'm going to be with you guys.
No, well, all right.
Sounds like, good. I kind of would, but I guess I'll do this instead.
That's right. So we'll see how everything shapes up. It seems like there's a strong possibility of a lot of runoffs But we'll be here to corral the whole thing and maybe even play some political Jeopardy. Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
Yes, that's
got
right.
some ideas that are
That's
floating
right.
around.
Yeah, exactly. We're putting together some crazy ideas that'll be different than anything else that you've probably ever heard in your entire life. You can count on that. That is tomorrow night, 6 to 8, here on Extra 106.3.
Maybe we'll play What Would Kimmer Do?
Yeah, that's right. While Kimmer's here, with Kimmer. Kimmer, what would you do?
What would Kimmer do
if there was a I don't know, wild bull running at you? What would Kimmer do? He was like, I'd take out a gun and shoot it. I know exactly what he would say. But maybe he will surprise us.
You're being chased by a wild boar.
Yeah, that's right. What are you going to do? I'm going to stab
Well,
it.
shoot everything.
Shoot everything in any sort of direction, man. I'm shooting north, south, east, and west, or left and right if you're Bryce. So
thank you for that, Tug. I appreciate
Wow, way to catch that stray on that one.
I mean, I can't do math. You can't read maps. I mean, we're struggling. We have to prop each other up.
I can't change oil.
That's
so.
right. There, well, look, everybody's been there, man.
So we all work together to make it work.
That's right. That's all you have.
What
to
a
do.
combo we have here.
Dude, I mean, we're just like the blind lead the blind.
What do you mean oil pan? What is this?
Where is this thing? How am I supposed to get up under there? Goodness gracious!
Can you change oil, Tug?
I can. I do. Well, I can on older cars. I'm not sure I could do it on any of the new ones. But that's the thing. Like I don't have a place to anymore, and I don't have the ramps that my daddy used to have. You know, the drive up ramps to be able to get up under there. But and that's the thing. I don't know that I'd be able to do it on newer cars. But when I was growing up, I had to.
They make everything harder to change on newer cars, like headlights.
Yeah, that way you need them to do it for you.
I know, but it's just a money scam. It's
Yeah,
a money
of course it is. Yes,
and it's stupid. Like I just want to be able to reach down in my hood, scratch up my hand a little bit, change my headlight.
I know.
Now you got to take off the whole front bumper.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you ever wonder why your phone stops working after a while?
That's right. It's that's part of the plan.
The battery life on it.
Yeah, those updates that come in, each one of them is making your phone less functional.
That's why Tug turned off his notifications.
That's right. Exactly right. That way they couldn't hit me with all the bad news. But it's true. Those ain't wrong about that. That's 100% true. Every one of those, when those updates come in, you can guarantee it is upgrading, so your software is not going to match your hardware, and you'll get frustrated and be like, I get a new phone, and $1,000 just goes out the window, just like that.
Just like that.
It's genius, really. It's evil.
It
Genius.
doesn't brick your phone.
No.
It just seems to not run anywhere near as efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you open your email and it takes forever to download email, just text. However, your pictures, everything just works just so.
It's the same way with my McDonald's app.
Okay, all right.
Mine takes forever to load. I'm in the drive-thru scrambling.
Yeah.
Just want to get my points.
Well, you want to use the points? No, I don't want to use the points. I just want to get my Sammy. Anyway, so Braves had a great weekend. 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. They're on quite a run. They'll play the Marlins starting tomorrow night. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? Tomorrow night.
No, it's starting tonight. Yeah, 4-game series starts tonight.
Down in Miami. And, dude, they look so good. Austin Riley, because you'd brought him up earlier. I mean, he's putting up numbers now after that slow start that rival his 2023 All-Star campaign. So anybody that was talking smack about Austin Riley, go ahead and take it back. We'll let you. You're welcome to take it all back.
Well, it was, we're going to have a conversation about Austin Riley.
Yeah.
It's like, are we?
Yeah.
It's called a slow April.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
And as we got into May, now that you, from the Colorado series on,
yeah.
Well, this is what you're getting.
Dude looks incredible. Pitching was good. The bats continue to amaze. You have Mike Yastrzemski, who is brought here as a fourth outfielder and has been playing a ton, and his bat is on fire all of a sudden, and he's fun to watch. He just seems like the nicest dude. There was a bit of a dust up over, I think it was Friday night.
Paul Bird, yeah.
Yeah, when he had the walk off. Paul Bird's like, it's not an MVP guy, or anything like that, but he came through. I was like, wow.
Listen, there's a simple way to do this, and I get it. Birdie was just trying to explain. He's
a role player.
The dude's a pro's pro.
Yeah.
The dude is going to play his 12, 13 major league seasons, and he's the kind of guy that you need to win ball games, but he's never the star.
Yeah. It didn't come off as
pro.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what he meant. Skrimsky knew that's what he meant. I knew what he meant. But let me tell you, when I heard it, I was just like, "Oh, that did not come off the way he meant for it to."
I mean, don't you love when you have people like that in your organization? Like,
of course.
we have people that work here, where they are behind the scenes. You never know their name. Every day they deliver. Mike, pro's pro.
That's right.
That's what you want.
100%. So Braves will you'll be able to hear them tonight down in the hall on our sister station, the Fan 680 93.7.
Tomorrow's a weird one. Tomorrow's the 4:10 start.
The 4:10, yes.
Yeah, the random middle of the week 4:10 start on the Tuesday.
All because of the NBA Finals, they said.
That's the reason?
Yeah.
That's what I saw last night.
Okay, all right.
It's all ESPN programming. Not finals, but...
conference finals.
Yeah, there you go. But still, yeah, look, there's a lot going on. All right, we'll see. But I'll be glad to watch the... after having that little West Coast run, I'll be glad to get them on early. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Download the app so you can listen live and on demand. The story of Louisiana, Los, is, as you describe it, not very complicated. And but I don't know that I think the senator that we'll speak about knew this was coming. Not the way it came. Not the way it happened.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
You dumb person.
Put a boot in your ass.
Yeah, there is a lesson from Louisiana. If you were not paying attention over the weekend, that's okay. We got you covered. Bill Cassidy, the sitting senator, who has been an incumbent, and we haven't had an incumbent senator that goes down in a primary, and we're getting near 2 decades now. Like, as much as we talk about getting rid of these mealy-mouthed, these extremely weak GOP senators, it doesn't happen very often. Well, different for Louisiana.
Enter Louisiana.
Enter Louisiana into the chat, as Bill Cassidy ended up finishing third. Okay, he doesn't even get to take part in the runoff. Now, here's how the story goes. Bill Cassidy, as a senator, was one of the votes that voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump. Now, here's what I have pointed this out, and I think here's the lesson of all of this. Donald Trump plays politics with you. If you want to play political games with him, he will play with you. I think he likes the gamesmanship. I think when him and Ron DeSantis were going back and forth during the primary process, it's not personal. When we talk about Marco Rubio and his place that he has in the administration, 2016 it was little Marco, and he's a key member. You know, J.D. Vance, who bought into so much of the media hype, ends up being his vice president and his right-hand man. You can play politics with Trump, but if you choose to hit below the belt, he's going to hit you 10 times harder. And that's what Bill Cassidy found out.
Thomas Massey may be the next person to find that out up in
the way
Kentucky.
That's going.
Absolutely. And, you saw Rand Paul and even Lauren Boebert up in Kentucky campaigning for Massey, not trying to redirect us, but just pointing out that you're exactly right. Thomas Massey's been a guy that's been, and I don't dislike Massey, but he and Trump are like oil and water, and the gamesmanship is on for that race too.
You have a number of places, like for instance in Texas, where John Cornyn and the Attorney General Paxton there are going back and forth. And right now you have Donald Trump, who won't endorse either one of them, waiting to see how it plays out. Cornyn would be the second incumbent in 15 years if he doesn't get through this in a primary, which again would just be surprising. But it's everything we talk about. Mm-hmm. Get rid of these people. When Mitt Romney is the first to step up and be like, getting rid of Bill Cassidy, that's
when I knew we had done the right thing.
I was like, good, excellent.
That's right.
Yeah, the bygone era of the mealy-mouthed, weak-ass GOP, thank you.
Yeah.
That are going along to get along. But that's really what this story is. This isn't about, as much as the media will spin it and the old-school GOP will be like, he's vindictive. I'm like, the dude voted to impeach him on a pretty phony charge because he thought it'd be politically helpful to his career. And all Trump basically looked at is, that's below the belt.
And everybody knew it was trumped-up charges, no pun intended. It was all BS. Everybody knew it. The people laying the charges down knew it as well. Everybody knew it. So for Bill Cassidy to go, yep, I'm jumping on this train. Trump's in the ground. He's dead. He's just fine. I can do anything I want. I can partner with the other side. I can be one of those Republicans.
I'll go along to get along.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about that guy anymore.
He's dead and gone. The resurrection happened.
He lost by nearly double to Julie Ledlow. Julia Ledlow ended up with 61,000 votes. Cassidy had 35,000. And then John Fleming, he had 41,000. He even had more than Cassidy did.
Kind of echoes of Indiana, too, a little bit.
When you decide that you do not want to be part of the fight. Now, Trump did get behind those challengers, but Indiana made it a point. 5 of y'all senators are getting out of here.
And we're done with y'all.
We're done with y'all.
And we're going to pick someone that will represent our values. Bill Cassidy, he got that same treatment. The voters down there said, you don't represent our values. We're going to ask you to leave the party. We're going to show you the door.
I thought one of the pieces of comedy I saw over the weekend was the analysis of this vote. And I think it was from MS Now. And the response was, well, here's the problem when Democrats can't vote in these elections in Louisiana.
Okay.
Because what would the Democrats have done?
Yeah.
Voted for Bill Cassidy.
Exactly right. Here's the other thing that kept coming up leading into this. And you've heard people like Tucker Carlson say it. Candace Owens. I can't say that I've heard Megyn Kelly, but it wouldn't surprise me if Megyn Kelly said something like this too. But Donald Trump has lost the MAGA base. How many times did those podcasters say that? It was over and over and over again. And if Indiana and Louisiana doesn't show you that it's the exact opposite of what they're saying, I don't know what will.
This is not business as usual for the GOP. I think that's the part that's enjoyable for people like Tug and I who have long been very frustrated. And the reason why we don't identify ourselves as Republicans, the reason why we don't look at them and go, oh, they represent me. I'm like, no, they represent themselves. This is an outsider branch that Donald Trump represents. And that outsider branch are a bunch of people that are tired of politics as usual. To look at what Donald Trump has been able to do, not just the first term, more so even the second one, with having more of the people around him, so much of the things he's accomplishing is at this very fast level. To hear, like, for instance, when we had Rick Jackson here, he talked about they've gotten more done in a shorter amount of time than anyone he recalled during his lifetime. Typically, it's, well, they'll get around to this. And that is with a Senate that isn't exactly been friendly to helping out the Trump agenda.
And Rick Jackson even talked about it when I saw him in downtown Alpharetta. He even talked about the process of dealing with the Trump administration versus the Biden administration. How quickly
on a business front,
how quickly they could get things done that should be easy to get done, but yet the Democrats and the Biden administration created so much bureaucracy that they couldn't get any goal that they wanted done as a business accomplished. He was like, the beauty of the Trump administration is they've slashed all that. Now, if I go to them and say, here's what I need done, here in a couple of weeks, I got it. I got what I need, the yes or no.
And so with Indiana being a harbinger of things to come and what we've saw in Louisiana, I think the intrigue for tomorrow, we are expecting to have a runoff when it comes to Republican primary for governor.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to be the percentage that Burt Jones gets? Because Burt Jones has largely been the front runner through most of this race. The money that has been thrown into this race is astronomical. And so, yes, I would expect that Rick Jackson also is going to put together a pretty good number, and those two will be the ones that will continue this as we get into June.
That's right.
But let's see how far the Trump endorsement goes in this state, because we've now seen what it did in Louisiana, and we've seen how it's changed matters in Indiana.
This is the swampiest of the states.
Yes, it is.
So
this is very swampy. And we have barely even gotten to touch on the state elections board.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Being told you're not part of this.
And we will talk with Janelle King, who's on the state election board, at 9:25 this morning.
Yes.
After I was reading about it over the weekend, I just shot her a text. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? She was like, oh, I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet you do.
A bipartisan board that has been looking into election shenanigans, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Not going to say cheating, not going to say fraud. Weird.
Yeah, just
election matters.
Abnormalities.
Abnormalities.
So they've been looking into those. And then got defunded. And there's been all kinds.
The governor was like, y'all don't get any more money and you can't do this anymore. And then Raffensperger's like, no, you can't take part in this.
And you can't be in the election reporting room as the election votes and the numbers come in. You're telling me the state election board can't be in the election reporting room? Help me understand why, because I've not seen that from anyone. And I've looked for the answer to why, and I've yet to see it.
I would like to hear from a member like Janelle King as to what is the why? What is the reasoning? Because I've yet to get a good one from anybody.
Help me understand.
But I think that is the intrigue is we've now seen what happens when, again, you can play politics with Trump. He's totally fine with that. You play dirty, he goes at you way harder. Like ends your career.
Yeah, goes with you in a very vicious manner. And I mean, it's politics. That's what I expect. And to be honest, if a guy like Bill Cassidy is not on board, it's good that he's out. If he's not helping,
if you're not part of the agenda,
if you're not part exactly, and you're not willing to pick up the torch and carry it, you're going to partner with the Democrats on a fraudulent, because it is and it was fraudulent impeachment. Then you don't need to be representing the Republicans anyway.
Louisiana spoke pretty loudly on Saturday with that.
Indeed, they did.
By the way, did you see what Kennedy then had to say about that?
I'm not sure I did.
He pointed out, he's like, I'm not getting involved in this. He's like, as far as like from here, who's going to be the next senator?
Yeah.
And his Louisiana witticism, he goes, unless one of them talks about my mama.
That's right. And then I'm liable to cut them. And John Kennedy just might.
John Kennedy's like, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, y'all have it.
Unless one of y'all talks about my mama.
And then I'll be there. James Comey addressed the deep state with a not-so-veiled message. Next on the Morning Extra. Good Monday morning to you.
Fighting the communists with truth every day on the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So you got into an argument. Things got heated. Then a fight broke out, and it landed you in jail. Now what? You need A Second Chance Bail Bonds. They can get you or your loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a few hours. So make the right call. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Your yard, it stresses you out. Between the watering, the seeding, the weeding, and mowing. And no matter what you do, you're never satisfied. Have you thought about artificial turf? It's low maintenance, it's pet friendly, and it looks amazing all year round. Those in the know use ATL Turf Go. ATL Turf Go is Atlanta's top choice for artificial grass installation. Let them build you a backyard of your dreams with a custom golf or putting green, outdoor kitchen or pool deck.
They even specialize in custom concrete and stonework. They handle everything from design and grading to construction and drainage solutions. So whether it's residential lawns or recreational sports fields, ATL Turf Co. can build you a stress-free space you'll love. So say goodbye to mowing, maintenance, and your wasted weekends. Learn more and schedule your free in-home consultation today. Call ATL Turf Co. 678-403-2339. That's 678-403-2339. Or visit atlturfco.com.
It's official. President Trump has endorsed Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is a trusted Trump conservative who's leading the fight to end Georgia's state income tax.
He's going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia. Burt Jones has my complete and total endorsement.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Babe, can you knock out my honey-do list today?
Oh, I know. I told you I'd get to it this weekend.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. I can't fix your marriage, but I can fix your house. With our handyman for a day service, we'll handle those drywall patches, that door that won't latch, the leaky faucet, and the wood rot all around your house. The whole punch list, done fast, done right. You keep your weekend, she gets the house done. Everybody wins. Book your handyman for a day at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, May 18th, and here are your headlines. The 61st ACM Awards, hosted by Shania Twain, took place in Las Vegas last night as country music's biggest stars celebrated the year's top artist and performances. Ella Langley led the night with 5 wins, including Female Artist, Song, and Singer of the Year, while Cody Johnson took home Entertainer of the Year. Both Langley and Johnson will headline Braves Country Fest next month on June 13th. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is extending the state's gas tax suspension as Memorial Day travel approaches. Kemp says the move is intended to provide relief to drivers as gas prices continue to rise, with the suspension now lasting through June 3rd. The original suspension was put in place earlier this year amid rising fuel prices tied to the war in Iran. And finally, Marietta City School football players packed more than 10,000 meals for people in need during a community service event over the weekend. The meals will support local food banks and families living in refugee camps near the U.S.-Mexico border. Coaches and players say the event was about building character and giving back to the community beyond football. There's plenty of sunshine today, so get out the shorts and pool gear with a high of 90 and a low of 66. With your extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Hang on. Did you high 90?
High 90.
Let's freaking go, dude.
It sounds like pool afternoon to me.
Yes, it does. Holy smokes, high 90. Let's go. I got my watch today. That's where I usually get my. That's why I didn't know, because normally, first thing I do in the morning is look at.
Put your low jack on.
Yeah, exactly. My low jack that's connected to my low jack. You know,
so they know where I'm at all times.
That's right.
Get lost.
But I bet they're confused today. They're like, he's really sleeping in, man. He's not moved. Guys still at home.
Okay, so we have swim practice going on from 5:30 to 6:15. Now I got to wonder.
Could you do adult swim practice maybe?
Well, I wonder what area of the pool they're going to be in.
Oh, did they do swim practice in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I
got to find out there.
That ruins things.
Was your pool cold this weekend?
We never went. We were planning on going, and we had a practice that went late. Saturday we had the girls decided to go to a play, and so we just decided, all right. And our pool cards, were not working correctly the previous weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So we put in for that, and they're supposed to be working as of today.
Got it. Did you go to the pool?
I tried.
You did, and it was too cold?
It was a little frigid.
It was cold last weekend when we went. So
I went to the girlfriend's pool this time, and then I tried our pool last week. Our pool last week in our neighborhood was fine.
Okay.
But hers.
Well, y'all got heated water in there?
I don't know what it was. I really don't know.
You
But
got heated water in there.
I mean, what?
I could only get into my stomach.
Well, I mean, Los just said it was freezing. You said the girlfriend's pool was freezing, and then yours was just like perfect, like bath water?
I guess it's
Come on.
It wasn't like bath water. I guess it was just refreshing.
The rain from yesterday is going to make it probably a little chilly, but it'll warm up quick if we're getting near 90.
Well, it's going to take a day or two, though. It'll take a day or two at 90. Yeah. But yeah,
at least it's not 47 in the morning like it has been.
Death. God, destruction. I hate that weather. But I know at least in our neighborhood, the pool doesn't open until this coming weekend. It always opens on Memorial Day weekend.
Y'all are falling behind.
Well, yeah, that's the way they always do it. And to be honest, we've not been members at our pool for about 3 years now. Since my son's moved off to, gone off to college, we hardly ever go down there.
I will extend the invite, put something together. I'll be like, boys, let's go and come on up to the pool.
Los, how you doing, buddy? Tug, I didn't expect you to show up today. What's going on? He was, didn't you invited us to the pool, didn't you?
Our friend Austin also points out our neighborhood pool was freezing.
Yeah.
Pool deck was scorching.
There we go. Exactly.
Nice
because
balance.
of the sun. No, I love it.
Thanks for checking in, Austin. That's perfect.
For sure. You just have to dip your feet, that way you push some water out onto that pool deck. That way you have a place to stand, because otherwise your feet will just completely get burned and sizzled.
Tug, I'm like you, though. I think when I went last week to our pool, that was only the second time in like 5 years that we've lived in that neighborhood that I've been to the pool.
Yeah, we've definitely dropped off since Jacob's.
We're every weekend.
I know, and it's it's so much fun. I actually asked. It's funny that we have this conversation. I actually asked my wife and son, should we join the pool this year? Because Jacob's home. He's not playing baseball. He's doing an internship. He's home, and we might actually use it. So I don't know. There may be something there. We'll have to see. The deep state. If you thought the deep state was going to check out, you thought the deep state was going to dial back, you were wrong. When a guy like James Comey, who I believe is a criminal, tells the deep state to hang on, he says, keep up the coup that I started with Obama. That's what he's saying. When you hear this clip, I want you to know, read between the lines, listen between the lines about what he's actually saying. We'll have a chance to go after our political opponents once again. Listen.
Not looked at from the top level. The people running it, if you're bragging about forcing out career prosecutors and agents because the president doesn't like a lawful investigation they conducted, something is seriously broken at the top. But I have great confidence in the people down below who are just trying to hang on. And I'm urging them, hang on 2.5 years, and then we can rebuild these institutions. But we need good people in those roles. America does.
He is gross.
Dude, he is so gross. And he oozes with...
He's just smarmy, as in, I live a different life than you all. How dare you prosecute me?
I will look down my nose at you.
James Comey is a man in 2016 that had Hillary Clinton dead to rights. Listen, we don't want to get involved in any sort of election here. Remember, the FBI... Once we got into 2021 and it was Katie bar the door, there's not a lot you can do about it. These were unelected bureaucrats that wait. They wait because they believe they're in charge. And once they're allowed to do whatever they want to do, you had the infiltration of Catholic churches where the FBI was looking into, let's see what they're up to because they might be a problem for us. This was a group that had pointed out, and this was coming from the top on down, that the biggest threat to this country were white servicemen who were Christian.
Buddy, I qualify. No wonder he hates my guts.
I mean, this is one thing after the next. By the time that you raid Mar-a-Lago looking for files that I believe were tied to Operation Hurricane.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And to know that we then found, under Kash Patel, you found the burn bags of all the stuff that they were involved in that were hidden in the FBI.
Yeah. Hang on, he says. We'll be able to get back in there. Hang on. 2.5 years, you hang on. We'll be able to go after our political enemies again. we'll be able to kick those borders open again in the name of absolute power. You'll be able to target those terrible Christians again.
Just hang on.
You just hang on. That's exactly what he's saying, dude. He packages it nicely for TV, but that's exactly what he's saying.
It is pure swamp.
Yeah, it is. There is nothing worse. And there's so many people like him that are there. And when you see these leaks, and there's been a couple of those lately, one with the Washington Post, and there was another, it escapes me, but it doesn't matter. But there's just been a couple of leaks lately from the deep state, from the IC, the intel community, about things that are happening in Iran and things that are happening in China. And all of those are there to undermine. They're there to undermine what the president's trying to do for you and trying to do for the country, that James Comey doesn't want to happen, because that would prevent him and the Democrats from that absolute power that they so desire.
I've been told by the liberal media, and by liberals in general, not even liberals, the fanatical end of the far left, I've been told that ICE is the Gestapo.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they are out doing the legal work that other presidents and other administrations have had them do. To know that the FBI was targeting individuals and also communities in the way that they were, don't tell me that's not a Gestapo tactic when you've decided we're going to infiltrate churches.
Yes, it is.
To find out what they're up to.
Yeah, these are the No Kings people too, by the way.
Yes. I mean, is that not the Gestapo? Is that not a Gestapo tactic?
Yeah, these are the people.
Like, what exactly did the Catholic Church do that had the previous administration like, we got to get after them?
These are the people that tell you they're doing it to save democracy, Los. They
want to change all the rules and to do away with the democracy.
Yeah, that's right. They want to. Another one, John Brennan. You probably remember him, CIA guy. And he says there is a legion, right along the deep state conversation. He was on MS Now, and he talked about the deep state right now. He calls it their Legion of Resistance. Listen.
What still exists in the system to slow that down?
Well, I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, the Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice. So we have to rely on these individuals to stand up to their professional responsibilities, and also to the courts, to the judges, to those judges who in fact took an oath of allegiance to the law, not to a political party, not to a person. And, I'd like to think that there are still some members of Congress. Certainly, I'm looking for the Republicans who at one point had spoken out against Donald Trump and had spoken in support of the law, but they seem to have just totally caved. And I think, as has been said, what has happened to our institutions is really going to have longstanding damage to these institutions, to our system of justice.
He said they have law enforcement, they have people in the DOJ and the CIA that are in the Legion of Resistance. That's the way he described it. He said they won't put up with or tolerate politically motivated prosecution. Would that be like 34 felonies? Is that the kind of thing that you're trying to avoid? Maybe
is that what you're suggesting?
I feel like y'all have stepped in that trap. Maybe you're trying to help people avoid doing that exact same thing again. Is that what you're telling me you're hoping for?
I believe we call this projection.
Yeah.
And if projection wasn't real, this is your perfect example of how it works. This is what we did. This is what we're concerned with. This is why Joe Biden and his team gave thousands of pardons out.
They would certainly recognize it if they see it. If they were just looking on the lookout for it. They're over the hills, just kind of leaning in, looking in, making sure they're on the lookout, making sure nothing happens, because they would recognize it immediately. And then he talked about activist judges, and I'm sure he was alluding to the Supreme Court and maybe some of the other victories that the Trump administration has had. But I wonder if he includes those judges that, I don't know, has illegals get away with murder in some cases, get away with child molestation, get away with rape, and then just letting people back out on the street.
Well, let's talk about the difference in what he's talking about versus activist judges, because that's always the buzzword. They're activist judges. Well, you've had the Supreme Court that has ruled on the legality based on the Constitution. Let's talk about the Voting Rights Act. If the scenario is that race should not be a factor, then race should not be a factor across the board, which does include whether or not you're gerrymandering districts. You can do it according to any other way, but you can't do it according to race. That is an interpretation, a strict one, of the Voting Rights Act based on how it was constructed. Because at the time, you had much more concerned over, well, all you're going to do is create white districts. I mean, that was the basis for it. 60 years later, it's been used differently by the Democrat Party. But what I'm talking about when we say activist judges, remember, there was a panel, and it was a 4-2 vote, I believe, is what the numbers came down to in Colorado, where they were removing Donald Trump off the ballot for insurrection.
Sure.
For a charge that he was never charged with.
That's right. Yeah.
So let me get this straight. Your activism has led you to remove a man for a ballot for a crime he was never charged with and certainly was never convicted of. That's activism.
Yeah, sure.
That's how that works.
And RFK, when he decided to pull out of the presidential run, when he decided to join Donald Trump with the MAGA and MAHA, MAGA and MAHA, and then they would keep him on the ballots. I feel like it was Michigan and maybe Minnesota, places that would not take him off the ballot, hoping.
In the hopes he would draw more votes away from Donald Trump than he would from whatever the Democrats were going to do.
Even though RFK went to court to say, I am out, you need to pull me off the ballot, and no, those activist judges wouldn't.
Even though initially they wouldn't put him on the ballot because they were concerned when he was polling at 20%.
That's right. Against the Democrats. They felt like he was in a bad way.
Tell me about the danger to democracy when even California is talking about redoing their elections on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is
Gavin
what these
Newsom,
people
another one.
do. Yeah. This is what they do. All we've been talking about is here's the law, here's the playing field. The Democrats have largely, for the better part of 60 years, have had to alter the playing field because they are a minority party. They're certainly a minority of thought these days. And so what do they have to do? Well, they have to take your taxpayer money in order to raise money. We've been through that ad nauseum. They right now are 3/4 behind what the Republicans are, and the Republicans don't do a good job of raising money, yet they're that far behind. And then what else? Well, then it also comes right down to it. If you can't gerrymander, suddenly they're not. You see how they're puffing their chest out about the House? Notice how that ain't happening anymore?
That's all dead quiet. Very, very quiet, because they know things don't
We're going to take
good.
the House.
Are you? Are you? That's a big question mark at the end. When we come back on Extra 106.3, I ain't good at math. Bryce ain't good at reading math.
Oh, we know you're not good at math.
Well, okay, well, I know you're not good at reading math. AOC needs a 6th grade vocabulary test before running for president. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, May 18th. The Atlanta Braves remain the best team in baseball after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox over the weekend at Truist Park. 8-1 the final yesterday afternoon. The Braves now head to Miami for a 4-game series with the Marlins starting tonight. It'll be J.R. Ritchie on the mound against Max Meyer. First pitch is set for 6:40. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and free on the Fan app. Aaron Rai won the PGA Championship after shooting a final round 65 yesterday. He wins the tournament by 3 strokes over John Rahm and Alex Smalley. And from the NBA, the Western Conference Finals start tonight as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the San Antonio Spurs. That tip-off is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
For more local sports, head over to The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. And for the latest political news and talk, stick with Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
You can see it. You can definitely feel it. Yeah, the Georgia heat is on the way. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? If your siding is worn out, faded, or failing, now's the time to get it fixed right. PeachStateWindows.com. See what Jeff and his team are doing for homeowners all over Georgia. I've known Jeff for years and years. I trust how he takes care of people. That's one thing I like about a business like his. More than 50 years serving Georgia. He knows what our homes are up against, that heat and humidity and the storms. And by the way, they don't do halfway jobs there with Jeff and Peach State Windows. Windows, this is a start to finish done right kind of place. Right now, 1,000 square feet of premium cement fiber hardy plank siding for just $69.85. 1,000 square feet. Removal, installation, professional paint, 0% financing for 12 months. How about that? 770-485-8011. Hardy plank is what I started using like 3 decades ago or so. 770-485-8011. PeachStateWindows.com.
Great, another auto repair. You took it to the dealer and now you're starting to panic. They say it's going to cost thousands and take weeks to complete. So don't fall for the tricks. Take it to Vicks. From simple oil changes and tires to transmission replacements and collision repair, you can count on Vicks Auto Care for honest, affordable service. Vicks Auto Care on Roswell Street in Marietta. Visit them today at VicksAutoCare.com. That's VIKS Autocare.com.
May in the A continues as the Nationals roll into Truist Park May 22nd through the 24th. So dust off your boots and join us for Country and Western Night on May 22nd, full of country music and cowboy flair. Fans will also receive a Braves straw cowboy hat presented by Visit Sarasota. The fun continues with a block party in the Battery Atlanta on Saturday and a Kids City Connect socks giveaway on Sunday. Visit Braves.com/promos to get tickets. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org. Helping warriors navigate to success after service.
A lot of places can accidentally expose you to identity theft. Doctor's office, online retailers, insurance companies, even our most trusted government agencies. The list goes on and on. Well, thankfully, LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. LifeLock keeps an eye on your personal information, your credit applications, finances, and so much. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Tanya and I have been saved several times by a LifeLock alert, so we don't worry about our identity theft. We trust LifeLock to have our back. Even better, alerts are automatically activated the moment you become a LifeLock member. No extra work on your part. Get the alerts. It can make all the difference. Join LifeLock now. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Save 30%. Terms do apply.
And they're still talking about impeaching Donald Trump. And again, if we lose the House, they will impeach him. The first thing they'll do is impeach him. They'll lose, but they will impeach Donald Trump again.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. They say great minds think alike. I don't know if that's true or not. Los and I seem to be on the same page a lot of times, so that's
right.
Just thinking out loud.
Tug cracked me up with a snake song over the weekend.
It's Pinkard and Bowden from about 1980 or early 80s-ish.
I needed it. I was struggling. I was doing a bunch of work in the basement. I was tired, and then Tug hit me up with a song about handling snakes in church.
That's right.
And that really just got me back going again.
Because my family, there's some of them in there that could probably handle snakes before. If they haven't, they probably
serpents, sir.
Serpents. That's right.
According to the Bible,
that's the good book. The
that's
serpents.
Right.
That's right. And so there's a great song. We used to play it when I was doing country radio up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We would on Wednesdays we would play church day music because a lot of people still go to church on Wednesdays, and we always played this one because it's just enough to make you go, wait, are they making fun of religion? And as a faithful guy, it's easy to make fun of religion. I'm a religious man. I'm a faithful man, and it's easy to make fun of.
The song, and the reason it was cracking me up, is that the guy is clearly a sinner, and he's just hoping that the snake doesn't quite figure it out.
The song's called Shake a Snake. Maybe we'll figure out how to...
we'll see how we can work that in today.
We can work it in at some point today, but it is...
He's like, please.
You might fool this congregation. You ain't fooling the snake.
That's right. The snake knows. The congregation might think, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
The snake is like, I know. I know.
Everybody shake a snake. Glory, hallelujah. You better get it right, or the snake will sock it to you. Oh, I love it. If you don't know shake a snake, look it up. And if you do, well, like I said, maybe next hour we can get a good laugh at Shake a Snake and my family handling snakes up in Lafayette, Georgia. Not Lafayette. It's not Lafayette. And that's how I know you're not from around here if you were to make that mistake.
Hey, is Lafayette down the road?
No, sir.
But Lafayette is.
Lafayette is. That's exactly right. It's so funny when people get that one wrong.
Dude, in Alabama?
Yeah.
You might look at it and say, that's Arab Alabama.
Yeah.
No.
Arab.
It's Arab Alabama, sir.
Yeah. That's right.
Know where you're going.
Cairo, Georgia.
Yes.
Some people, that's Cairo. No. It's Cairo. Sir, we know our... are you listening to Shake a Snake now?
It's funny.
Dude, it's great. It'll make you smile for sure. I'm never the smartest guy in the room. I'm never the dumbest guy in the room. I try to give myself a little grace, but I would never mistake, I don't believe I would ever mistake silo and salvo.
Well, don't give it away on the jump here, Tug.
Well, I didn't mean to. I thought.
Come on now. Yeah. This ain't your first rodeo.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it.
AOC. All I'm saying is that we're going to get words wrong on occasion, especially if speaking extemporaneously, you're giving a speech, maybe you didn't write a whole bunch of stuff down. But when you're going to land the plane, like you're going to make your big point, have it right. Like years ago, when George W. Bush gave us the fool me once, shame on me. Yeah. Fool me twice. Well, don't fool me again.
That's right. It was so good.
Right? It's like so when he did it, and you're like, oh no. I was like, George, I know it's tiring, and I know that metaphors can be difficult, but you got to land these things.
Come on.
Well, here was AOC over the weekend. See if you can pick it up.
It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama. It is time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice. They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened. Because it is not a coincidence, and our whole country must understand that it was not until voting rights were ratified in this country that we got the Great Society. Because when Black Americans have the right to vote and that vote is protected, our schools get funded. When voting rights are protected, healthcare gets expanded. When voting rights are protected, our country moves forward. In Montgomery, that's what they're actually afraid of. They're afraid of us coming together. They're afraid of us protecting one another. Alabama is the crucible. Georgia is the crucible. Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi is the crucible. So if you are not from here, it is time to pull up. Because what they thought was the final blow is actually just the opening silo.
As I teased that, I said 6th grade vocab test, and I just did a quick Google search. What grade do you learn the vocabulary word silo? And usually between 4th and 6th grade. But she's an actress.
She's an actress.
So
all I'm saying is that if you're going to land the plane, you got to have the last word right.
It's the most important one. Because that's everything you said hinged on that one.
Because I know about an opening salvo. Mm-hmm. I also know about a grain silo.
That's right. 2 different things. Very, very different things.
Very different things. It's the opening silo.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it didn't work out for her.
And people look to her for strength.
Well, and look, does screwing up one word get you, make you, does it disqualify you from running for president? No, it doesn't. But being dumb like her does.
I think that, I think that.
Well, I mean, that was they sent her on an overseas tour to talk about foreign relations.
Venezuela.
And also talk about what we were involved in around the world. And when asked a question, that's what she gave you. I
think that. What do you think?
Exactly. Do you know what you think? Because I'm not convinced you know what you think.
Fairly certain that you were prepped to go on a tour that you're not ready for.
Exactly right. That's what I don't think she thinks anything. She's like, what do I read next? Tell me what to read next. Just like Joe Biden. It has echoes of Joe Biden reading just whatever's on the prompter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't equate to what he's actually, what any of it means.
Well, she's mentally functional, which is completely different, but
the message is the same. It is the same stuff. We're going to write it down for you, and you're going to read it.
But when you get her off of prompter, this is what you get. You find out that is an empty suit.
That's right. Joe was the same way.
What exactly do you know about?
Yeah,
you know about silos? I mean, to think that she, and because this has been their rallying cry, well, the black vote can't vote. Like, outside of the one gentleman I heard at Alpharetta when we were at the town hall who was worrying about whether or not he was going to be allowed to vote, I'm like, how much of this garbage did you swallow?
And I would love to go back to find that gentleman and be like, hey, early voting, have you been able to vote? Are you fearful that you can't? Can I walk with you into vote? I mean, obviously I won't go into the booth, but right up to the point there at the library, early voting, or at your precinct. Are you really fearful of this?
Sir, are you aware that nothing has changed for you?
Zero.
At all.
Do you have
you ain't black.
Do you have a license that you drove here with? Then you can vote here in Georgia.
It's pretty simple.
It's straightforward.
It's not a difficult process, but that is the rallying cry now.
How do we rile people up? Because I don't want to think that man, and I don't know. I don't want to think that man was a plant just there to say it.
He asked it like he legitimately believed it.
I think he did.
It's like, what do you listen to? What do you watch? You can walk into, as long as you are registered, you can walk into any polling center you are registered, then you can vote without a problem. In fact, you'll probably be done within 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how quick you are.
My son's a college student. In and out. In and out.
Nothing has changed
Nothing
there.
has
All
changed.
that has changed is that you can't gerrymander districts according to race, which is actually going to be better for everyone involved, because you now will not have politicians that are basically pandering and also keeping you in your place to ensure their power.
Trump is putting folks on notice about the Save America Act. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, it's been an interesting weekend, so I have a couple of tidbits to share with you. First of all, I know this is going to be bad news for some people, but the Department of Veterans Affairs has pulled the plug on a Biden-era initiative to supply certain devices to female veterans. These devices are widely available, and they are called CTDs, or clitoral therapy devices. You probably know them as vibrators. The VA has now said, after careful consideration, it has been determined by the government not to award a CTD contract again. So women veterans, you're on your own. You're going to have to take matters into your own hands. On another issue, here's something for you to be worried about. They can flip themselves a foot off the ground. They can shed their own tails and reproduce without a mate. Kind of like Lena Dunham. But these invaders are inching their way into your backyard garden and your local park. It's called the Asian jumping worm. Started out in California, now in 38 states, including New York. You may know them by some of their nicknames: Alabama jumpers, Jersey wrigglers, snake worms, and crazy worms. You may have missed it, but the House of Representatives voted on something called the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. This whole thing was to protect and to limit participation in women's sports to people who were actually born women. And the vote is in, ladies and gentlemen. Republicans, 260 yes votes, no nay votes. Democrats had 2 yes votes and 206 no votes. Democrats want to keep allowing biological men to compete with women in women's sports. They're so wonderful. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, Atlanta, the Summer Starts Here sales event is now going on through June 1st, Marietta Toyota. If you want a smart new Toyota with a payment that makes sense, start with the 2026 Toyota Corolla. And a vehicle that people choose for reliability, efficiency, and long-term value. Perfect for daily driving and commuting. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we're voted Best of Cobb for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. Well-qualified buyers, 4.99% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Corolla. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota, since 1975. We've been here and will be here for you.
4.99% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers are qualified. Offer ends 6/1/26. See dealer for details. All purchases exclude tax, tag, title, and include dealer fee of $699.
The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6.
I knew he had some kind of personal, what the hell? That damn phrase won't come out. The thing, they're not self-defense.
Karate?
No, the thing you call the sport of
martial arts.
Martial arts. God.
MMA.
Dorothy Boyd, thank you.
Oh, criminy.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Iran better move fast. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's President Trump's latest warning on Truth Social, writing the clock is ticking, and they better get moving or there won't be anything left of them. As the conflict remains at a standstill, days after the president called Iran's counterproposal trying to work out a deal garbage. And if the U.S. resumes bombing, Fox's Trey Inkst reports from Tel Aviv.
We understand, according to regional sources, that President Trump has been presented with a variety of options, and these would likely include going after the remaining leadership of the Iranian regime and also a variety of other targets, going after the storage facilities where they still have a variety of missiles in underground areas.
Iran appears to have again attacked its Gulf neighbor, the United Arab Emirates, with drones.
3 entered from the western part of the country. 2 were shot down. 1 hit an electrical generator outside the Baraka nuclear power plant near the border with Saudi Arabia. This is UAE's only nuclear power plant, guys. It has 4 reactors, which supplies up to a quarter of the country's electricity. UAE's ambassador to Washington posting on X, quote, "The attack targeting the Baraka plant is unacceptable act of aggression."
That's Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Dubai. The U.S. Navy and the FAA are investigating a mid-air collision of 2 fighter jets during an air show in Idaho yesterday. All 4 aboard safely ejected, parachuting down while the jets hit the ground in giant plumes of black smoke. Now an update on that hantavirus-stricken cruise ship.
The MV Hondius was carrying 25 crew members and 2 medical personnel when it reached Rotterdam in the Netherlands this morning. The crew will enter immediate quarantine. The ship will now be disinfected. It ends a sailing from Argentina during which 3 passengers died, including a Dutch couple believed to have brought hantavirus on board.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. A Canadian passenger tested positive. 18 Americans remain in quarantine in the U.S. as a precaution. There's also an Ebola outbreak in Africa. 300 cases, 80 deaths. Some Americans are infected there, but the CDC says there's a low Ebola risk here. America's listening to Fox News.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because my pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF.
Coffee, keys, and Extra 106.3. That's how I get to work and home.
Lord, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Morning Xtra.
On a Sunday, go to meeting day deep in the South. There's a small congregation, got some big cotton mouth going. Nice snake, good snake, pretty snake. Don't bite me, snake. Well, they're singing and a praying and a passing around the plate. If you wants to see the promised land, you got to shake a snake. Going nice snake, good snake.
You got to shake a snake.
Don't bite me, snake.
This is the greatest finger
Well, everybody shake a snake and glory, hallelujah. It's a love one another, or the snake will sock it to you. Yo, the little lady, yo, the little lady, yo, the little lady.
This is for my family, the snake handlers.
Everybody shake a snake. Praise God, and you can drink in it, boys, and sing. Don't doubt and keep the faith. Good snake, love your snake. For God's sake, don't bite me, snake.
All about the snake handling. And look, my faith's important to me for sure, but that song makes me laugh so hard. And it's been, I don't know how long we've talked about it on the show, goofing about snake handling.
I don't know how it comes up in the way that it
I
does.
don't know. I mean, it's just funny.
You start talking about your family, and I immediately go to, what about those people that handle snakes?
I know a few. And then I don't know why it took so long to click, and it was just this weekend, and it just clicked. I was like, oh. I was like walking through the kitchen. I was like, oh, I've got to send this to Los. And sure enough, I shot him over Pinkerton Bowden. I think it's 1984, maybe.
Yeah, it was listed as 84.
And the song that
don't bite me, snake.
Yeah, good snake, love you, snake. Don't bite me, snake. Turn it on, come on.
One another, or the snake will sock it to you. Yo, the little lady, yo, the little lady, yo, the little lady.
Come on.
Everybody shake the snake.
There you go, right there. So if you go to church and the snake don't bite you, that you're good and pure.
That's right.
And if the snake does, well, you were a sinner and deserved it.
That's right. You fooled the congregation, but you can't fool the snake.
So if you want to play it for somebody that'll make them smile like it has us, make sure you just do a quick Google search. Pinkerton Bowden, Shake a Snake. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier experts. So many things over the weekend, and Los is actually going to be out because he's got his big 20-year anniversary. Dude, you ever look back and go, 20 years? when you get married, of course you want to last 20 years. You want to last 50 years. You want to last until you take the vow till you die. But when you look back on it, and it seems like 20 years has just evaporated, and you got two beautiful girls, and time just doesn't slow down for anybody.
Let me do it this way. So when we had our honeymoon, we were in Jamaica, hung out with this one couple, and she was a volleyball coach, a pretty renowned volleyball coach.
How fitting.
Yeah, she ended up coaching Power 4 down the road, and then decided she wanted time with her family and left the program. She's now a director at a pretty large volleyball program. And I told my wife, I go, hey, have you seen what she's up to lately? Because we all kind of paid attention to each other. You
connect on Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, she's not married anymore. It's like, oh, well, that's too bad. I go, she's with Woman.
Oh, well, she did a full drop step.
And so that was the good, hey, 20 years later, you and me are still together, a couple kids, keeping it fun.
Yeah.
And she's with another woman.
Yeah.
So things change.
Yeah, they
so
do.
But I'm glad her and I haven't.
Yeah, in 20 years, all kinds of things change. Holy cow.
I'm glad her and I haven't.
Yeah, is there... But do you have... Because people have asked, because Laura and I celebrated 25 years this year. People are like, well, what is the trick? And I don't know that there's a trick. Just be good to one another. I mean, that's pretty much it.
For us, it's pretty simple. First off, if it's got to be pretty important for us to fight about.
Yeah, same here. It's
got to be pretty important.
Never fight.
And I think the other is, and this isn't about not having scene control, but if it ain't that important, then it shouldn't cause that much trouble.
Yeah, right. And typically
shouldn't cause an issue.
Yeah, and it's always the little things that cause conflicts, not big things.
No.
Most of the time, at least in my experience, it's not been the big things, always the little things. If you can control the little things, then
you never get to a big thing.
Then you never get to the big. That's exactly right. I love it, man, and I congratulate you, and I'm proud of y'all.
Don't thank you. The worst thing that I deal with is every now and then, if my wife travels, she will get ready in our bathroom, and she'll leave the light on. And I'm trying to get a little more sleep before I go to work.
I would like to sleep when you turn that dadgum light off.
Okay, that's me going, she's all about her.
Yeah, that's right. And in that moment, maybe.
And in that moment, I'm a little bit upset, but not upset enough to get all that mad about it. I'm like, all right, I'll go turn the light off.
Hey, or hey, babe, before you leave, you mind cutting that light off?
Turn that light off. Can you kill that light?
That's right. Exactly right. Morning Xtra at Extra 106.3. The first thing to know this morning,
Way out west, there's a show. The Morning Xtra, the Morning Xtra. Tug so bold, deep in the story. Breaking news that's bold.
Everybody wants the passage of the SAVE Act, except John Thune, apparently. Because he said, wow, it's just nothing else we can do. You know, just wringing his hands. Lord, there's just nothing else. I don't know what else to do. We've done everything we done. I just don't know anything else to do. So what does Donald Trump do? I love the fact that he's now being vocal about the things that he feels like is a necessity. You've heard even Ron DeSantis brought it up over the weekend too, saying, hey, why aren't we holding ourselves accountable and the Democrats accountable for the things that need to be done, the Trump priorities, the conservative priorities? Why aren't we putting them up for a vote every week? Let's get something up there. And but that's not what's happening. And I love seeing Trump being vocal about his priorities. You and I voted for election integrity. Trump says the Save America Act, it must be passed. And he said, I don't care how you do it. If you need to attach it to a bill like the FISA legislation, both are bipartisan, then attach it to the bill and get it passed. That's the leadership that I want to see, because he's concerned about fake mail-in ballots, as he should be. You saw fake mail-in ballots all over the country in different denominations. There's a quote in Maryland, just had 500,000 fake mail-in ballots. So Donald Trump's right. This must be passed now, and I'm glad he's speaking up about it.
Well, when you look at it's now 14 states across the nation, if I remember correctly, that had more votes than registered voters, which included Georgia.
Yeah, I was going to say, Georgia, wasn't it 1 million?
Georgia
almost
had
1 million?
More votes than registered voters, which just screams fraud. I mean, that's the most basic, simple way to say there's fraud going on here. And we'll get a chance to talk with Janelle King next hour with that state elections board. She'll be able to describe a lot of this in detail about what a bipartisan board would like to change here in
and
Georgia.
What to look for.
Yes.
That's not going to be picked up in the mainstream media or even local media for that matter.
And so I believe when you look at what's going to come down next, and this will probably be as we get near the end of the legislative session, we're going to get a ruling when it comes to birthright citizenship. That's, I would expect here in the next 30 days or so, right as we get near the end of the session when it comes to the Supreme Court. We're also going to get a ruling over the next couple of weeks that's going to end vote counting after Election Day. And so slowly but surely you're chipping away at what the Democrats have been taking advantage of with mail-in ballots.
For decades.
Yes. That in certain states, like in the state of Washington State, everybody can mail-in ballot vote. What the SAVE Act is saying, well, you can, but here are the restrictions. You're a member of one of the armed services. You are overseas. You happen to have a disability. Like there is a very tight line of who it is. Otherwise, you got to show up to vote if you want to vote. And in states like Georgia, we give you basically the better part of 3 weeks to do it.
My entire family's early voted. If you want to early vote, you will go early vote.
Yes, if you don't want to, it's because you didn't feel like it.
It's because you didn't choose to, you didn't make time to, but then you'll need to make time on Tuesday. And I'm with this, man. I think it's so important that we get our arms around this, and I know, because you brought up Janelle, I know she does too, because she's seen it from the inside. She's seen how filthy the sewer, that's what we've been calling the swamp, because swamps are nice and sewers are filthy, and that's what we have here in Georgia, it seems like, especially with the voting system that we have, the people running it, the people that I don't trust even on our side, the people that you might say, oh, well, they're a Republican, you're good to go, thumbs up. There's so many of them that despise you and I because we feel differently. Those are the people that I want to hold to account. And I'm not saying put them in jail unless I need to, but I'm saying hold them to account, making sure that those priorities like the SAVE Act are implemented, because that's the only thing that will give us some certainty in these elections from coast to coast.
Well, I think the real it's not like it's not a political danger. It's not some constitutional crisis. but I think you're putting the ball in the court of Donald Trump to try and do this through executive order if you don't pass it. And now it becomes a huge fight as far as what does the court say? Do we get an emergency court ruling? Is within the power of the presidency to decide how these elections are going to go? I think that if you want to do this the right way, then it falls on John Thune and them to figure out a way. The discussion point has been is that they're going to wait until August to then fire this thing through, and then that's when it's going to apply. We'll see.
Yeah, I hope
because it
so.
certainly has not been. It's on the radar. It's what Trump wants. It's the next primary piece of legislation that he wants as part of his legacy, and it's being slow played.
And it'd be different, Los, if this was some sort of bill that made people have pause. But it's not. It's not controversial whatsoever.
It's got about 80% of support across all Americans, as high as 85%.
It's right. And that what Lo said can't be glossed over. Among all Americans, all demographics, sex, race, I mean, everything. Everybody's in support of this. So to see John Thune say, we've done everything we can. No, you haven't.
Well, this is the damage of 20 million illegals that were brought into this country. What has occurred is that you have minority communities who are citizens of this country recognize that citizenship is important, even though the Democrats have tried to downplay it. They've watched your tax dollars going to these people that are here illegally. You've seen them where, in some cases, even the ones that are legal that came in through H-1B1 visas, how the Biden administration was taking care of them using VA loans so that they were able to purchase homes and basically kind of jump the line. You're like, hold on a second. Being a citizen of this country should be much more valuable. And if it comes down to just the basis of voting, then that puts the power back in your court. That's why you have 80 to 85% approval across the board here.
And that's why you have establishment politicians that hate it.
Yes.
And don't want anything to do with it.
Well, right now the Democrats are trying to derive their next generation of power from people that are not here legally.
Mm-hmm. That's their power base.
And by the way, John Thune and the rest of when it comes right down to it, the Republican Party, for the better part of 30 years, has not had any problem with illegal immigration because it drives down wages. And they looked at it. It was you don't even have to go back that far. You can find Democrats that were wildly against illegal immigration because it hurt the unions. They were like, we don't want these people here. That's why you had Bill Clinton send out 13 million and Barack Obama send out 13 million because they recognized it was going to help their power within the labor unions. The problem is that once the Democrat Party under Obama moved away from, they thought it was white working class, it was all working class.
Yeah.
They had to focus on illegals. That's where things have shifted. But the Republicans, especially the old school GOP ones, they haven't broken out of the mentality that, hey, we don't really want illegals here.
And you saw, at least I saw it over the weekend, Bill Kristol, who's one of those establishment swamp Republicans, used to write, I think the Weekly Standard was where maybe he still does.
Yeah, he still thinks it's his party.
That's right. And
it's not.
It's definitely not. And then this weekend, he said, I'm no longer a Republican, I'm a Democrat.
Of course.
Huge surprise.
Of course.
Gigantic surprise, Bill Kristol.
Bill Kristol, and in the same way that you have the people with the Lincoln Project, they were Republicans in name only. They were rhinos who firmly believed that they were the power brokers, and that as Donald Trump has moved the party away from them, and you now have them, think about the Mitt Romneys of the world. Mitt looks at it like, they moved the party away from me. You mean we got out of the nasty, swampy politics of it? That's what occurred. So people like Bill Kristol, who have his power basically taken away from him, now what does he do? Where am I going to find it? Okay, Jeff Duncan Light. Yeah. Like you're doing the exact same thing.
Same thing. Absolutely right. And they never give Donald Trump credit. And look, I'm not saying you have to sit around and praise Donald Trump, because I don't either. There's all kinds of things he does that I'm like, I don't know that I've done it like that, or I don't know that that's the right angle. But most of the time, I feel like he does, and he gets done a lot of things that you probably don't even realize. There's all kinds of things that are happening under the Trump administration that you voted for.
So and I know because if you were in the media, you did not see this. So what did we have that went down Thursday night into Friday morning. Well, you had Mohammed al-Sadi in handcuffs. Now, who is he? Well, he's a big terrorist that actually was part of 20 attacks across Europe and Canada. You had Jose Enrique Martinez Flores. Now, this is a guy who is a Tren de Agua leader. And basically, they were able to get a hold of this guy. Now, this guy was running human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, extortion, prostitution rings for Tren de Agua. And so he was able, they're like, okay, we got him locked down. This is this string of stuff that our special forces have been able to do around the world, where we're actually not just getting dictators from Venezuela who had indictments on them, but people that have been in charge of terror and causing issues all around the world. And the reason why you don't hear about this is because everyone across the board, Republican and Democrat, likes when we take out bad people.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Across the board, everyone does. And so the media is like, no, we don't want to get any victories out of this stuff.
Yeah, this dude planning attacks all across the country, and you probably saw over the weekend, and I don't know that they're connected at all, but you have to wonder, with the explosive found in the dam down in Mobile, Alabama, if some of this stuff is connected. But if it's not, that means we have even more work to do. And this dude, the whole time, thought he was dealing. Thought he was dealing with a cartel member, which is actually a little bit scary if you think about it. That means that the Iranians feel like they can connect with cartel members and infiltrate into the United States and do damage here. It's scary, all the things going on, but that's not even it. I mean, there's things that Donald Trump is doing and his administration is doing to.
We had a terrorist. We had a terrorist in Nigeria.
That's right.
That was also killed by our special forces. I mean, we are operating around the world right now and taking out bad dudes. Again, you won't hear about any of this stuff because the media is not going to be telling you about the accomplishments we're having when it comes to dealing with people that are causing havoc.
And where are all those protesters? That's another thing you should ask when you talk about the guy that was killed in Nigeria. He was one of the leaders in killing Christians there, and that is a genocide. Bill Maher even calls it a genocide, and he's a classical liberal. He knows what it is. Where are all those campus protesters all of a sudden? Talking about genocide.
Not really interested in that.
Of course, it doesn't do anything for their political movement.
Nope.
So sit on their hands. It's not important to us. It's a genocide. I thought genocide was your concern. I thought
it was bad all the way around the world, no matter what.
Because I would say it is. I would say if there's a genocide anywhere, it's bad.
I would firmly believe that targeting people for their religious beliefs and murdering them is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
That I would like to see put to an end.
Absolutely right.
It's just strange how we're the doves now.
Of course. And they sit on their hands like a freaking bunch of lunatics. When we come back on Extra 106.3, back in 2016, they wanted you to believe that you'd be dead by now.
We are dead, Tug. It's all a simulation.
Just say it is? Okay. Help me understand, because I kind of know what that means, but I'm not 100% positive.
We're not actually here, Tug.
Right. Los is going to hold our hands and walk us through this confusing time as you learn how you're dead. And this is not even real. None of it. Next on the morning. Sounds like a grand conspiracy theory, doesn't it? Next on the Morning Extra.
Neil Bortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
You know what you get back when you call the Trusted Toolbox? You get your time back, you get your family back, and you get your house back. No more spending weekends fixing loose doors, drywall cracks, or that list that never ends. With our handyman for a day, one skilled professional shows up, knocks out multiple repairs in one visit. Everything from drywall to ceiling fans changed out, painting, trim work, and so much more. Stop working on your house every weekend. Call the Trusted Toolbox, get your time back, and get it done right the first time. Book your appointment today at thetrustedtoolbox.com.
Join Daniel Matalon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. or listen to the podcast anywhere. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So you got into an argument. Things got heated. Then a fight broke out, and it landed you in jail. Now what? You need A Second Chance Bail Bonds. They can get you or your loved one out of jail quickly, in most cases, in a few hours. So make the right call. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
When you're ready for a new truck, SUV, or car, there's one place Atlanta drivers keep coming back to: Jim Ellis Chevrolet.
That's because Jim Ellis Chevrolet makes buying a Chevy quick, easy, and hassle-free.
No pressure, no games, just a smooth, transparent experience from start to finish.
And the Chevy lineup is stacked, from the legendary Silverado to the versatile Equinox to the bold new Blazer and the fuel-saving Chevy EVs.
Plus, they've got a huge selection in stock right now, which means more choices, better availability, and competitive pricing you can feel good about.
Here's the best part. You don't even have to start at the dealership. You can shop online, value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete your paperwork from home. It's called the Jim Ellis Expressway, and it lets you buy the way you want, in-store, online, or a mix of both.
And when you do step inside, you're treated like a guest, not a transaction. That's the Jim Ellis difference. Shop online at JimEllisChevrolet.com or visit Jim Ellis Chevy on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hi, it's Glenn, and I want to ask you a question. How many insurance brokers does it take to protect your business? If you're like me or most business owners, the answer is way too many of them. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and no clear view of how all of it fits together. So when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. Super Sure is going to change all that. One broker for all of your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. If you've ever stared at a policy wondering what it actually covers, Super Sure has a fine print facts tool that translates all that legal crap into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. Right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies, no obligation. Find out if you're overinsured or underinsured or somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform. All of your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, May 18th, and here are your headlines. The 61st ACM Awards, hosted by Shania Twain, took over Las Vegas last night as country music's biggest stars celebrated the year's top artists and performances. Ella Langley led the night with 5 wins, including Female Artist, Song, and Single of the Year, while Cody Johnson took home Entertainer of the Year. You can see both Langley and Johnson as they will headline Braves Country Fest next month on June 13th. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is extending the state gas tax suspension as Memorial Day travel approaches. Kemp says the move is intended to provide relief to drivers as gas prices continue to rise, with the suspension now lasting through June 3rd. The original suspension was put in place earlier this year amid rising fuel prices tied to the war in Iran. And finally, Marietta school football players packed more than 10,000 meals for people in need during a community service event over the weekend. The meals will support local food banks and families living in a refugee camp near the U.S.-Mexico border. Coaches and players say the event was about building character and giving back to the community beyond football. Coming up in 1 hour from now, Janelle King will join the guys to talk about the Georgia Election Board being barred from the election reporting room tomorrow night for the primary election. There's plenty of sunshine today with a high of 90 and a low of 66, so get your pool weather clothes out. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
I will say the name Don Schlitz, and you probably won't know who that is. And
Yeah, he has the beer.
Yes, that's exactly. Beer company. He's a beer mogul.
Right.
No, he passed on. He wrote The Gambler. And last night, Blake Shelton at the Academy of Country Music Awards put the spotlight on him. And this is one of those songs that even my son's 21, knew every word to it last night as we were watching. It's one of the greatest country songs of all time. But he also wrote Randy Travis, Forever and Ever, Amen. And there's dude was a legend. So I just thought it was great that they recognized him because this song means so much. And Kenny Rogers, he made his home here in Atlanta. He lived here for years and years, and he is buried down at the Oakland Cemetery in the Bobby Jones neighborhood section of the Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta. So there was a connection to Atlanta, Georgia, just with this segment that they did. They concluded the Academy of Country Music Awards with last night, and it's one of those songs. Anytime you hear it, just want to sing it. Know when to fold 'em.
It's top 10 as far in my book.
Oh, yeah.
Most famous country songs ever.
Easy, absolutely right.
Like The Gambler. Everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, it's fine because I have that record, and it's Kenny on the front of the cover, and it's a casino setting. It looks more like a riverboat casino setting, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, the fact that you can tell people. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, and people know exactly.
And they pick up, and they know when to walk away and know when to run.
That's a gambler.
When to hold them, and you
don't even have to know the song or who sung it or who wrote it. You know that's the gambler.
That's exactly right. So it was one of those cool moments. I just wanted to bring it back and tell you the connection between Atlanta, the city that you live in here in and the connection to the song and the artist and why it means so much. And at that final resting place there in the Bobby Jones neighborhood where Kenny's buried in the Oakland Cemetery, his final resting marker, distinct black granite monument engraved with, "Will the Circle Be Unbroken?" Of course, one of the greatest country songs. Matt, that may be the greatest country song of all time. And they sing it at the Grand Ole Opry a whole lot. And of course, at the Grand Ole Opry, there is the circle that you stand in when you sing. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta Carrier Expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. You're trying to tell me that it's all fake, that I'm living in some sort of thing that ain't real? Hang on.
Before we flash back.
Okay.
I'm going to make this about me because I work in radio and that's what you try and do.
Okay.
You know when I do my NFL draft guide,
yeah,
and I do all the studying and I put it all together, you know that I stare at that thing, and when the guys are being drafted, I'm just ticking off my board going, got it, got it, got it.
It was like me last night, and my votes for the ACM, I got it a little bit.
You want to make sure that all your work, all your knowledge, everything you've invested in is correct. And so when somebody gets drafted that I don't expect, I'm like, well, they made a mistake. They were wrong.
That's right.
They didn't get this right. I got this right.
I feel the same way about the Entertainer of the Year award.
Same.
I know exactly what you mean.
Same concept. I'm right. They're wrong. All right, let's flash back.
We said all there is to say, baby, flashback. Go ahead and give it to me. Flashback, honey. Take us through the night. Flashback, now we're standing here, can't you see?
The year is 2016.
That'd be 10 years ago, I believe.
And there is a gentleman who, you can find him at this point, does some work at the University of Arizona. This is Guy McPherson. Now, Guy is recognized as a scientist. He's a professor. He writes books on climate and the end of human civilization. In fact, Guy McPherson, he actually coined a new term. It's considered a pseudo degree. It's called NTHE. NTHE. It stands for near-term human extinction.
Oh, good. He sounds so pleasant.
So Guy McPherson has been playing this game of explaining to you how little time we have because he's invested in it, because he's created a degree program in it. And so he can't possibly be wrong, right? Let's go back to 2016. Guy McPherson is on a show And he's just going to let all of you know we're all already dead.
We are heading for mass extinction. There you go. That's it. End it there. As humans destroy our own habitat. That is the no holes barred message from climate change expert Guy McPherson from the University of Arizona. Last time I spoke to you, 2014, and you sort of, snatched any hope of a future from me and my family. It was doom and gloom. Has anything changed since then in your account of things?
Oh yes, the situation is far worse than it was then.
Okay. How much time does the human race have?
I can't imagine there will be a human on the planet in 10 years. I suspect it'll be...
No, I'm sorry. Did you say 10 years?
Yes, in my out loud voice even. Yes, I can't... we're headed for a temperature within that span that is at or near the highest temperature experienced on Earth in the last 2 billion years. That's at least an order of magnitude faster than occurred during the Great Dying 252 million
But
years.
you are suggesting then that the temperature increase will be phenomenal over the next few years.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is exponential change, and we have difficulty coming to grips with exponential change.
Now, that means we're all dead. That means that we've suddenly lost billions, right? In
There
10
you go.
years.
Like the announcer. He was like, there you go, zilch done.
There you go, zilch done.
No wiggle room.
This guy has made these predictions in 2021. Now it's 2026.
You wonder why nobody believes it. Well, first of all, it ain't true. But then secondly, is guys like him and John Kerry and Al Gore, they've been telling you this forever.
Now,
nothing's changed.
Let me just point this out. If we were to have like a massive solar flare like epic, maybe you end up right. That has nothing to do with our heat. Maybe you would have, a sudden shifting of the magnetic poles. Okay, then maybe you might be right. But it's not because of heat. It's not because of anything going on this planet. We may get hit by a giant meteor that has nothing to do with anything we're doing here. Again, go back to the KT boundary. You'll see what it did. This is the silly alarmist stuff. Like, I want to be right with draft picks. Tug wants to be right with his country music awards. Guy McPherson wants to be right about this because he's created an industry around it.
But the difference is, Los, he's not. And at some point, somebody's got to call him on it.
Well, we're almost halfway through the year.
At some point.
Guys coming up a little short on this. And by the way, we're going to get through this part of the year. And as we get into the fall, I'll be looking at it going, Guy, where's the heat, buddy?
But he's no different than Dr. Fauci. He's the same type of person Dr. Fauci is, right?
It's a megalomania that you've created that you are the science.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what Fauci said. I am the science.
I mean, this is a guy who's been familiar with homesteading. All right, so Guy McPherson is a homesteader. These are people, it's also known as living off the grid. But you're not supposed to say living off the grid. You say homestead because that sounds like, whoa.
It doesn't sound as crazy.
Thank you. That's exactly it. This guy has been a homesteader since 2009. This guy's been predicting this stuff for the longest amount of time.
At some point, maybe he'll be right. Maybe.
Well, yes, when the giant meteor hits the Earth.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe.
Or the massive solar flare.
Yeah.
Or the random changing of the magnetism of the poles from north shifting to south, south shifting to north. Maybe then. But again, that has nothing to do with any of this change of our heat.
The goalpost keeps moving back.
Yes, and the reason keeps moving. But when you're that invested to be a homesteader or live off the grid, as Tug would point out, what crazy people would say.
I prefer it.
See how you have to be married to this the whole time?
You have to, of course. And he has to know. He has to know what he's created. He has to know that none of it's real. He has to know. He's not a dumb man, I wouldn't think.
No, I'm sure.
He was like, I found me a niche. I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to sell a lot of books.
Do you think any of it's based on like the whole doomsday clock thing? Y'all seen that?
No, because the doomsday clock is based on the potential of nuclear war. Has nothing to do with anything else.
But for me, and I want...
And I'm sick in the head and I know that sort of stuff.
I want the people that believe this man to maybe call 404-741-1230 and tell me where we stand. Is it later this year?
It's climate delusion.
Of course it
is. That's what it is.
But there's somebody that believes it. There's somebody that...
Well, they're not going to hear from us because they're on their homestead.
I guess you're right.
They're off the grid.
You know what? was the dead giveaway? And this is going to be obvious, I guess, to probably most of the people listening. But when people like Barack Obama bought a house on the coast after they told you that the coast wasn't going to be there anymore, you're like, well, wait, hang on. The coast is going away, and you're buying a big old $8 million mansion or whatever the price is on the coast. Like, who are you trying to convince?
I'm so concerned about rising ocean levels that I've bought a house on the coast.
And they all do it. It's not just I called out Obama. I don't mean to just single him out.
Listen, I did it, and I was like, "This is fake anyway. I'm good."
Well, but you did it because you don't worry about you're not buying into old McPherson there.
No,
you're not buying into John Kerry. You're not buying into Barack Obama. So you had no reason to be frightened of the rising seas and taking out your home.
It is funny that video from 10 years ago is now making the rounds, just to remind Professor McPherson, hey, so tell me about that whole 10 years again. You were so automatic.
You lean in with your hand to your ear.
What do you have now?
What exactly would you like to say about it? Is there any feeling of maybe that you misled people and you knew it? Could you at some point maybe come clean and say, you know what, I got caught up in the fervor?
Listen, crazy people don't know they're crazy.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. So, but I don't want to think the guy's crazy. I want to think he's actually really smart and he's found a niche and he's making a whole lot of money on it. That's what it.
Or he's crazy.
Or it could be.
Enough to, again, you're the one who said crazy when I said off the grid.
No, I know. No.
Like the dude is homesteading because he firmly believes this is how the world's going to end.
But I know some people with family members living off the grid, and they're not crazy at all.
No.
They're just like, I don't want to be a part of all
But
this.
they're also not doing it on the basis of climate.
No, of course not. That's totally different.
They're like, I don't want to be attached to society in this way.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
do it on your own.
Like a dude that one of my best friends from high school, he was in my wedding. Like, he wants to be off the grid. He is 100% committed to eventually getting off the grid. He goes, I don't want cell phones, I don't want computer, I don't want internet access, I don't want none of it.
Good. Yeah, you don't want to be able to be contacted that easily.
But it's not because he's scared the climate is going to change.
It'd be if he was concerned that the Terminator is going to happen starting tomorrow.
And that's the thing. He's not even worried about that. He was like, I'm tired of being around people.
Of course.
He was like, have you seen the level of violence that happens around this country? He was like, I want to be in the middle of the sticks somewhere, and if anybody comes on, I've got my protection, and I'm good.
Guy McPherson firmly believes this stuff. This isn't just because, again, if
I gave him too much credit.
If the guy was running around, if the guy was running around with millions of dollars and buying up properties and everything, you would go, okay, that's what it's about. I don't think it's about that. I think he's poisoned by academia and his own belief that he's correct. In the same way that I will sit back and tell you, hey, I don't know about this quarterback. Here's my issue with it. It's like, I have a belief. I have an idea. We'll see what happens. This guy doesn't have an idea anymore. It's just belief.
But that's the thing. Like, you'll see whether you're right or not, right? When this plays out.
Yes.
He's seeing it right now that he's not right. Like, where is he? He should be on TV today going, you know what, I was wrong. I meant 2036.
Nah, he's just sitting in the woods waiting.
Yeah. He's got a shot.
He's got
ready to go.
He's got like 200 something days left. It's fine. He's got a good shot at this.
He's got plenty of time.
He's got a good shot. Lowe says he's got a good shot at it. I just don't know about that. 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770 Get Heat. CentralHeat.com. Everything is not Trump's fault. I'm sure you know that. It's a mentality that you choose. Next on Extra.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, May 18th. The Atlanta Braves remain the best team in baseball after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox over the weekend at Truist Park. 8-1 the final yesterday afternoon. The Braves now head to Miami for a 4-game series with the Marlins starting tonight. It'll be J.R. Ritchie on the mound against Max Meyer. First pitch is set for 6:40. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and free on the Fan app. Aaron Rai won the PGA Championship after shooting a final round 65 yesterday. He wins the tournament by 3 strokes over John Rahm and Alex Smalley. And from the NBA, the Western Conference Finals start tonight as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the San Antonio Spurs. That tip-off is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
For more local sports, head over to The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. And for the latest political news and talk, stick with Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Opioids can start as a prescription for pain, but misuse can happen quickly, and addiction doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone. Take medications only as prescribed. Never share them and store and dispose of them safely. If you or someone you love is struggling, help is available. Call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Prevention starts with awareness. Learn more at georgiaopioidhelp.org. Sponsored by the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
The warm air, the beautiful weather, and the sounds of baseball. It's got you thinking about hitting the road. And no matter where your adventures take you, Subaru of Gwinnett has a vehicle to get you there safely and in style. Like the 2026 Subaru Outback, which will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive plus up to 32 miles per gallon. And if you're up for adventure, it'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4 or the 2026 Subaru Forester, the SUV for all you love. It's the right-sized SUV for all the adventures ahead with a spacious and comfortable interior for everyone you want to bring along. And no matter where adventure takes you, it starts on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth with the amazing staff at Subaru of Gwinnett. They'll help you find the Subaru that you'll love and be there every step of the way for everything you need. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
May in the A continues as the Nationals roll into Truist Park May 22nd through the 24th. So dust off your boots and join us for Country and Western Night on May 22nd, full of country music and cowboy flair. Fans will also receive a Brave straw cowboy hat presented by Visit Sarasota. The fun continues with the block party in the Battery Atlanta on Saturday, the Kids City Connect Socks giveaway on Sunday, and so much more. And then get ready to slide into summer at Truist Park as the Blue Jays and Pirates come to town June 2nd through the 7th. There's 3 exciting giveaways to look forward to, including the David Justice bobblehead presented by Truist, the Drake Baldwin hockey jersey presented by Xfinity, and the kids soccer jersey built by the Home Depot. Plus, don't miss the Summer Beach Bash theme night. Catch all the electric energy this summer inside Truist Park and cheer on your red-hot Braves. Visit Braves.com/promos to see all of the fun and to get your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
It's May 18th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National No Dirty Dishes Day. No one likes to deal with dirty dishes, so instead of cooking a big messy meal, get some takeout or eat on paper plates. However, if you end up having dirty dishes in your sink at the end of the day, why not make a family activity of it? Everyone pitches in, and that way, the mess is cleaned up in no time. Also on this date, in 1953, American pilot Jacqueline Cochran became the first woman to go supersonic, breaking the sound barrier flying a Sabre 3 jet that was borrowed from the Royal Canadian Air Force. And Mount St. Helens erupted in Washington state in 1980. The ensuing landslide was the largest in history. 57 people lost their lives, and the damage caused by the eruption cost $1 billion. If it's your birthday today, you share it with actress and comedian Tina Fey, born in 1970. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The biggest candidates in Georgia are live on Extra 106.3 FM.
Greg Dolezal is our guest right here.
The tax code is Swiss cheese, and this tax code is Swiss cheese because we spent the last 10 years giving lobbyists every single thing they asked for, and now that it's election season, we want to give the voters what they asked for. You can't have both. You can't serve two masters, and in this business, you're either going to serve the special interests or you're going to serve the people.
Candidates. The road to victory includes a stop at Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Thank you for being here. If you missed anything so far to this point in the show, you can go back and listen to it on the Extra 106.3 app. It is available for download at the App Store or the Google Play Store, and it's so easy to listen in the car. Like if you're somewhere where the signal doesn't come in, you can just plug it into either Google Auto or Apple Auto, or Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is what it's called. Get my names correct, but it's right there on the dash. That's what makes it so handy. Like if your car is able to do that, it shows the Extra app right there in your choices from the apps that you can access from your phone. There, right there on the console. So it's big, and you just hit it right there and take it with you wherever you go. Plenty of ways to listen to Extra 106.3, whether on the app, in the car, extra1063.com, or just the old-fashioned way, 106.3 FM, 1230 AM. It's however you want to do it. It's totally up to you. We're fine with any and all of it. So if I were to blame Donald Trump, Los, for everything, anything that goes wrong, if I blame Donald Trump for it, all of that, is that his fault, or is it still mine? If I blame him, do I get to absolve myself from any sort of responsibility?
When you subscribe to the victim mentality, well, then it's never your fault.
See?
Ever.
I'm a victim. I found my new out on everything.
So I saw this over the weekend, and I did the double check and the triple check, because I'm always cognizant of the bot. It's like some person who says something very random, I'm like, that's fake. It's totally fake. Here's what it is. Well, there's a woman named Lana Quest who goes by AKA Rosa Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she claims she has a YouTube show, and I went to it because I want to make sure she was real. And what it is it's Democrat policy for beginners. And her mentality is very much along those lines. And while she comes across as like, oh, look, she's friendly, she's explaining some stuff to you, crazy ain't really far underneath the veneer. Mm-hmm. Okay? So she had this moment over the weekend where she said, she put this quote out there, she put this on X. My son just aged out of my health insurance. Now, what does that happen at?
26.
26. Yeah. Says two choices for him. Pay $1,400 a month for Cobra, or pay over $400 a month on the health marketplace, which is actually the least expensive plan there. Now, for those of us who live in a certain level of reality, $400 for healthcare is not crazy.
No, of course not.
It's not. She says, apparently, I'm going to be paying for his cell phone forever to help him out. The system is not set up to help young adults. She goes on to say housing unaffordable, school unaffordable, healthcare unaffordable, and now you have the guy in the White House more concerned about gold for his ballroom and blue paint for his reflecting pool. Somebody points out, well, listen, he's already living with you. She says this of her son. He doesn't live with me. Republicans refuse to extend subsidies. More people had insurance under Obama and Biden. Interesting people now can't afford to live. Y'all punk asses always blaming someone else. Clowns.
As she's blaming someone else.
Exactly. Here's the deal. And she doesn't ever consider herself this. Ma'am, you raised a freeloader. You gave him until 26 to actually be able to afford these matters on their own. Now, granted, it is more difficult for young people, but I would imagine that if my daughter is graduating at 21, 22 years old, I'm giving her a 4-year off-ramp to figure it out. If that means she has to, like many college graduates, come home for a little bit of time until they get up on their feet, fine, cool. That's part of what happens. But to see what she's created and then to point out that because we're no longer paying for the subsidies.
We, the collective, the taxpayers.
And by the way, going back to 2008, more people had health care and had better health care for less money.
That's right. Who made it unaffordable is exactly what I wrote down. That'd be President Obama and the Democrats and the Republicans that went along with it. They made it unaffordable
and
for
actually,
you.
None of them did. Not one voted for Obamacare. This strictly falls on the Democrats, except when it came to some of the subsidies, that were coming out of 2020.
Yeah.
Where you did have some people that did go ahead and vote for that. But to think that you have this mentality And this is what it really comes down to. She blames everyone else for herself, but herself. I mean, it starts at home. If you can't raise a kid that can do things on their own by they're 26 years old, they're not even a kid anymore. It's a grown man who can't take care of himself.
Yeah.
And how did you do that? Because you convinced him he's a victim, just like you convinced yourself.
And he'll be that the rest of his life.
Yeah, and
it's hard to shake that, man.
You will never get that out of your mind
if
unless
you're taught that.
You need the red pill moment. In fact, if the sooner her son goes, oh my God, Mom has handicapped me. You know, there's something I talk about with my wife all the time. I go, we can set up, safer scenarios, or we can tell them basically, hey, listen, things have consequences.
Well, even with, along those same lines, when my son started college, he had about a $10,000 scholarship, but the school he was going to was about $50,000 a year. So my wife and I have saved very well for his college. But just to make sure that he was going to take it serious, we made him take out the FAFSA loans for $2,500 per semester. Then when the new school came a-calling and said, hey, why don't you come play ball with us? We'd really like to have you here. And you'll have Hope, and we have a scholarship for you that will cover everything left over that Hope doesn't cover. And he was like, well, wait. So I don't have to take out these loans anymore? It'll actually be taken care of? He was like, why wouldn't I sign up for that?
Done deal. And he was smart enough to do it. And good. I'm glad that he recognized it. I just presented him with the options. And I wanted to see which way he would go. I didn't have to reason with him at all. He had already reasoned. It made sense for him. I don't want to handicap him. He's still got $7,500 of loans that he'll have to pay for at the end of his college career. Those are still out there. He's still very well aware of it. He's still like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for those. I don't know what that looks like. And I was like, you're right, you don't now. But when you get out and you start getting a job and then you nail everything down, get your life in order, you'll start focusing on that stuff. I remember when I finished my graduate degree, I was paying for it while I was doing it. And the interesting part about that is suddenly, because my skin was in the game more so than when I was 18 and it was my parents and what they had saved, I was even better student. I was like, that was my money. It was like, I'm the one who worked for that.
To your point, my son has been on the dean's list every semester of college. He works his tail off, and I'm proud of him for doing that. But it's the same thing because he's got skin. I feel like it's because he has skin in the game. Well, that and playing ball, he knows he has to make pretty good grades. But he knows that skin in the game is falling on him.
She raised a freeloader, and at no point does she recognize that you actually created another ward of the system.
But wait, I thought we didn't want a king. Now the Democrats are talking just like a king would. Next on Extra.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Okay, it's been an interesting weekend, so I have a couple of tidbits to share with you. First of all, I know this is going to be bad news for some people, but the Department of Veterans Affairs has pulled the plug on a Biden-era initiative to supply certain devices to female veterans. These devices are widely available, and they are called CTDs, or clitoral therapy devices. You probably know them as vibrators. The VA has now said, after careful consideration, it has been determined by the government not to award a CTD contract again. So women veterans, you're on your own. You're going to have to take matters into your own hands. On another issue, here's something for you to be worried about. They can flip themselves a foot off the ground. They can shed their own tails and reproduce without a mate. Kind of like Lena Dunham. But these invaders are inching their way into your backyard garden and your local park. It's called the Asian jumping worm. Started out in California, now in 38 states, including New York. You may know them by some of their nicknames: Alabama jumpers, Jersey wrigglers, snake worms, and crazy worms. You may have missed it, but the House of Representatives voted on something called the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. This whole thing was to protect and to limit participation in women's sports to people who were actually born women. And the vote is in, ladies and gentlemen. Republicans, 260 yes votes, no nay votes. Democrats had 2 yes votes and 206 no votes. Democrats want to keep allowing biological men to compete with women in women's sports. They're so wonderful. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
This is Tom, the honest car guy, and we got a surprise call in from a customer of ours, Travis, out in Jefferson, Georgia. Travis, good to hear from you, buddy. You want to tell a little bit about the experience you had with me at the honest car guy?
The whole experience, honestly, was one of the smoothest car experiences that we've ever gone through, meaning that there's no pressure. There's no runaround. It's just straight up honest service. The price that you guys present or find for you, that's what you are going to pay. And you just get a great deal. I've been educated to a newer process of the car dealership game. You guys have not come in and you're setting the benchmark for how car dealing and car buying and car selling really should be.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
And now, Deep Thoughts with Neil Bortz.
When will they make extra slutty olive oil?
An Extra 106.3 AI exclusive. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Will the ceasefire end? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The Middle East remains on edge, waiting to see if the war will resume in the days ahead.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv after President Trump warned Iran on Truth Social the clock is ticking and they better move fast or there'll be nothing left of them if they don't work out a deal.
While diplomatic efforts play out, the economic situation in Iran is getting worse each day due to the ongoing U.S. blockade of Iranian ports. CENTCOM says more than 80 commercial vessels have been redirected and 4 were disabled to enforce the blockade. A senior Israeli official told Fox News that early signs are developing of a fuel crisis in Iran, with long lines at gas stations being observed.
We don't have that here, but gas prices have surged more than $1.50 in the conflict. However, AAA's national average for regular $4.51 per gallon is a penny less than a week ago, and oil prices, they're down more than 2% this morning. Luigi Mangione due back in state court this hour ahead of a judge's expected ruling in the murder case against him. Mangione also faces federal charges in the 2024 shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a New York City hotel.
Mangione's lawyers argue that when he was arrested, sitting at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, 5 days after the killing, police there violated his rights. Cops seized his backpack and possessions without a search warrant. They only got one more than 7 hours later.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the New York court. A gun was found in the backpack along with a journal with Mangione's anti-healthcare writings. 3 juveniles in custody after a series of weekend shootings in Austin, Texas. The last one arrested last night.
At least 2 of the teenagers in custody are suspected of driving around Austin in stolen cars, firing shots at pedestrians, apartment buildings, homes, and 2 fire stations Saturday and Sunday. At least 12 shootings in all. 4 people are wounded, 1 critically.
Fox's Chris Foster. Well, 18 Americans remain in quarantine in the U.S. as a precaution after the hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. There's an African Ebola outbreak in the Congo and Uganda. 300 people infected, about 80 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
So many people are living every day with pain that they just think they're stuck with it. It is what it is, but it doesn't have to be. I want to tell you about a letter I got from Oregon, a guy named George, and his Relief Factor story. George, hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in a garbage truck. Tough job, made even tougher because he's dealing with a sore right knee that just wouldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. And he said in his letter to me, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." I can relate to George. There was a time when I wondered if I could continue working because My pain was so bad. If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, can help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, $19.95. A few weeks, even days, you'll feel the difference that Relief Factor can make in your life. You don't have to be stuck living with the pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF.
Tired of all the negative media manipulation? Wake up feeling right with a Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
I sense a trend of music themes and music selections this morning. This is at least the second, if not the third, Duran Duran song we've had. Am I right about that?
The Medina Monday.
There we go. Okay. Is it? Well, help me connect the dots here. Just a big Duran Duran fan? Is that?
I said last week that I was checking out Duran Duran last week.
Okay. And he remembered. See, that's good. And here I am just flailing around. Can't remember anything.
Although it was a lot more like 90s Duran Duran. 80s Duran Duran, there's no problem there.
Yeah. Ordinary World was a huge hit.
Yeah.
Come Undone
is a huge hit from them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love it all, man. Rio is obviously
Rio's a great song.
Oh, great record.
If you play this loud enough, dudes will come up to your car.
And do what?
See what you're up to.
Yeah.
That's why there were so many people next to me on the highway.
That's right. If you back into a park and flash your lights and play Duran Duran,
there's no telling.
There's no telling how that night's going to end.
Who may come visit you? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to avoid
Poor
that.
Tug is going to be like,
I'm going to avoid that.
Like, turn it down. Turn it down.
Quiet. I'm glad my old truck radio ain't that loud.
that or Depeche Mode.
Yeah, I do love some Depeche Mode. But I think, I don't know that I'd say I like Duran Duran more, but I think I do. If I had to put them on the scale, I think I would go Duran Duran over Depeche Mode. I could be talked out of it, probably.
I could be talked out of it.
But if just on the surface, I'm definitely Duran Duran. Gosh, man, they had so many hits. I think I told y'all, this was about 20 years ago, me and my buddy who does radio, he does pop radio up in North Carolina, and he and I were in Chattanooga at the same time, and we flew to Houston. The only time I've ever been to Texas is to Houston. And we went to see Duran Duran at the University of Houston, and it was he and I and 40-year-old women and gay men and he and I. And it was a spectacle like I've never seen them. But they sounded so good.
Sure.
Freaking crazy good. Even 20 years ago, they were still rocking it like a hurricane. Man, they were so stinking
Tug's
good.
car on the way out was surrounded by guys.
Yeah, it was. Absolutely was. Yep. I was like, fellas, I got to go. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to hang out with you anymore.
They're like, where are you going, Blue Eyes?
Yes, back to Georgia. Holler at y'all later. Y'all have a good night. Take care now. See y'all later. But yes, a fun concert. Those 80s bands are fun to see. I like those, and they do the 90s ones too, where they'll do like just a group of 90s artists that had one or two hits. I mean, obviously Duran Duran had way more than that, but I just mean when they do those 90s tours or those 80s tours where it is a bunch of, and you can go and just sing along to every stinking song.
Well, that's why you get New Kids on the Block with Boys to Men.
That's right.
It's like, we're going to combine forces and deliver what you like.
Backstreet Boys is, because they had a bunch of hits, and NSYNC had a bunch of hits, and then they put them all together with the NKOTB, and it's record sales and selling out State Farm Arena and Ameris Bank Amphitheater and Alpharetta, wherever. They just sell out a ton because everybody loves to go in. That's why people love cover bands so much. And cover bands get used to it, at least I don't know if they do anymore. They used to get such a bad name. Like, they're no good. They're just a cover band. Man, there's a dude that we've seen a whole bunch of times that plays all around kind of North Fulton and is incredible. Dude is maybe the best cover band I've ever seen, and we go see them all the time because they're so good, and you can sing along, like I said, to every song. And that's what everybody wants. That's the whole point. I mean, nobody wants to go hear songs they don't know. Who's signing up for that? Nobody. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Braves back at it tonight. Had a good weekend. Took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. Could have taken all 3. It was a line drive up the middle from Hassan Kim that got hit. It literally hit the shoe of Aroldis Chapman and change the dynamic of that game, or they get the sweep. But you have to be proud about the way the Braves are playing.
It's now 15 series. They've lost one.
Yeah, it's unreal, dude.
They have the best record in baseball. Heading over to Miami, and this should be a nice stretch for them between Miami and then Washington, two teams that they've really been able to push around over the last couple of years.
And something you said earlier that didn't even I didn't even know. Like, we're coming to the easier part of the schedule.
Yeah. This is when you talk about a stretch of teams that are below 500, the Braves were playing a stretch of teams that were at or above 500. And we were making the comparison that if you take what Philadelphia's done, they're 15-4 in their last 19 games. They've made up half a game.
And they're pissed about it.
They're 8 back because that's how well the Braves are playing. That when you go out there and you win basically 15 out of 20 games and you make up half a game, yeah, the team you're chasing is pretty good. But I'm sure Philadelphia isn't going away. You'll hear from them later this year. Probably they're going to be in the playoffs along with Chicago and LA. So it's just you're going to start getting some of your horses back as well, some of your pitching and Ronald Acuna Jr. hopefully this week. So it's good things. Good things as we get into June.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. The first thing to know this morning.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nation needs your wake-up call. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
We will win.
In your ass,
well,
courtesy of the
it's funny that that's the clip you chose to play, because that's exactly what we heard James Comey say in I think the 7 o'clock hours, where we talked about him talking about we're going to wait everything out just 2.5 more years. You wait, deep state. You keep doing your actions, keep doing the things that'll derail as best you can. You wait. We'll get to kick open that border again. We'll get to do all the things that we were doing before Donald Trump moseyed in here. You heard John Brennan, same thing. Yes, there's people at work against this president, a sitting president. Of course. And similar to the statements from Comey and from the statements from Brennan, there are the possibility of 2 Republicans in a runoff in California, dude. Who in a million years would have thought this would have been a thing?
It really speaks to the failure of Gavin Newsom's leadership and the direction overall that California has gone in. If you just look at the spending projects alone and how much money has disappeared, the one that came out over the weekend was the amount of money they were spending on hearing aids for children who had hearing issues. It was a program that I believe the number came to, I think it was like the number of like 80 million. The amount of hearing aids that were distributed was so limited that it was basically $76,000 per hearing aid. So you ask the question, what happened to the rest of the money? And that's really the story of California. It's how have you managed to defraud so many people, not just obviously based on looking what has gone on federally, but within your state. It's like you've basically taken money from one of the largest states in the country, pilfered the taxpayer, and then given it to special interest groups.
And you wonder why people like Spencer Pratt are making waves.
You wonder why you can't afford to actually have, in this case, fire control. You have a state where if you just did regular controlled burns,
like we do in Georgia,
and took care of underbrush, then you are not concerned when you have wildfire season.
But they didn't.
But they don't.
And they choose not to. And that way, a reality television star is vying for the mayorship of Los Angeles as a Republican. It's unbelievable. But it's not like the deep state, not like people like Gavin Newsom are going to say, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do this thing fair and square. Of course they're not. When asked about it, Gavin Newsom says it's not going to happen. We won't allow it to happen.
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot. Look, I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario, and there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll leave it then.
We're going to break the glass.
So do you want the break the glass scenario?
Yeah, what is the mechanism to prevent this?
So this is the ballot measure that has now been put forward by Steve Maviglio. So he has worked in the past in the communications office with former California Democrats. Like, for instance, Gray Davis worked as one of the comms directors for this person. He has put together a plan. They have filed paperwork for this to change the state rules. Rather than going with a top two system, it would go back to a party system. So in the middle of this election for a governor of California in which the two Republicans are winning, the plan would be to go back to a system where you would have a top Republican and a top Democrat.
This is the same people that scream about saving democracy all the time, and yet when democracy is playing out in front of their face, they're like, nope, can't let it happen that way.
Here's our break the glass scenario. Let's keep in mind, the reason why Virginia isn't 10-1 when it comes to their House seats is because they didn't follow their state constitution, their state laws. Well, California's trying to change theirs on the fly. If I ever hear that whole cat call of a threat to democracy,
you'll hear it, believe me.
Well, I mean, if you were fine and democracy was playing out, if a representative republic was being honored, then you would let this play out and see where it goes. But
they have a track record of not doing that.
But this is not how it plays. And that's why Gavin Newsom is basically telling you we have a break the glass scenario.
That's kind of like Kamala. I think she was the break the glass scenario. When they decided to anoint her, and the No Kings people are anointing the person that needs to be the next.
Joe did it. Joe beat him to the punch. Joe's family beat them to the punch in that case because they would have gone a different direction. But regardless, Joe, you gave us a loser.
But the thing was, it wouldn't matter whom it was. They were going to anoint the person. They would have picked the person. There was not going to be any democracy.
No, and looking back, and I think you've had it where Nancy Pelosi, when she initially said that, no, we did have a vote. It's like you never had a vote. I think looking back, they wish they had gone actually to their national convention and nominated someone from there. At least it would have.
At least it would have appeared.
Wouldn't have had the smell of what it has. But that's what California is looking to do. California is looking to change the rules on the fly so that you don't have two Republicans on the top of the ticket who are competing for governor.
We shall see how this thing all shakes out. But that's what they do, is undermine the Constitution.
And by the way, because of that system, you haven't had a Republican versus a Democrat in the state of California for nearly 20 years. It's always been two Democrats. The only time you even had a sniff was a special election when it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. It wasn't really that much of a Republican.
Yeah, no kidding.
But again, you're going back 20 years. The system was set up to make sure there was never a Republican that was the governor of California. That it would only be a Democrat versus a Democrat. Now that the system is hitting them in the mouth, now they want to change it.
It's not Trump that is destroying democracy. They want to yell and scream and talk about Donald Trump destroying democracy, but it's actually them, Los, that will do whatever it takes. They will change everything to ensure their power and democracy be damned. That's what's happening. And they talk about it openly. It's not like they hide it. It's not like you don't know what they're going to do if they're reelected.
Well, Lydia Moynihan was on CNN, and this is the moment where you are not going to be invited back.
You just got uninvited. You're like the Alanis Morissette song.
I think the Jesse Kelly story, you can always listen to Jesse Kelly 6 to 9 when he's not on vacation, right here on Extra 106.3. He tells a story about going on, and I think it was like CNN at the time or one of the other ones, and he just nuked his competition. He's like, just killed him. He's like, I'm set. I'm done. Like, I'm going to get invited back. I'll be a regular now. Says 6 months later.
That is not the way it works.
He says he's talking to his friend who was the producer, and he's like, why didn't I get a call back? He goes, you moron. He goes, you killed the person. It's like, you can't come on and destroy the audience and the Democrat representative. It's like, once you did that, it was over. Because the entire audience is going to reject what they're going to be upset about what you said, and you're going to go ahead and take the person that is supposed to be representing them, and you destroyed them. Well, that is why Lydia Moynihan is not going to get another opportunity on CNN, in my opinion. Take a listen to her explaining how the threat to democracy, how it's actually playing out.
More power. Yeah, there's been sort of two Democratic responses. The first is hers. And after years of hearing Donald Trump is going to destroy the Constitution and undermine the very fabric of our society, now in order to protect the Constitution, we need to expand the court, undermine the judiciary, eliminate the Electoral College, which is how we've always elected the president, and then add D.C. and Puerto Rico as states. I mean, the irony is just beyond that she wants to save democracy by undermining the Constitution. So that's the one reaction that we've seen. And then the other reaction is the reaction from the far left, like Hassan Piker, who literally has said, this is going to lead to more political violence, which is kind of an endorsement of that, suggesting that that's what's going to happen. So I found it alarming to see that Democrats basically either want to undermine our Constitution in order to save democracy or are essentially calling for violence.
I don't know. I mean, I think you can let Hassan Piker speak for himself.
Yeah, but when you give him a forum, that's exactly what you're endorsing. That's the whole point of giving a forum to somebody who's advocating for violence. I think how Abby Phillips tries to run from it immediately.
Immediately, always.
Fact is, when it comes to these changes, these constitutional changes, these threats to the democracy, there's only one group who's been talking about expanding the court and has been talking about that since 2021. There's only one group who has talked about getting rid of the Electoral College and have been doing that at least since 2000. And there's only one group who keeps shooting at the other group.
And trying to add provinces that will be, like Puerto Rico, that to be a state. And Puerto Ricans don't even want it.
They have zero interest in it.
No interest in it. And D.C. was never meant to be a state. It was never meant to be a state.
Since its founding. There's another one that if it ever went to the courts, one of the issues you will have is that the courts will rule on precedent. And if they can, they will rule on what was the basis at the start of the Constitution. D.C. was constructed to never be a state.
You know it, I know it.
It's not even technically a city.
Yeah, they know it.
It would never occur.
They know it. And yet will do exactly what they're doing.
Unless they pack the courts. Which that's the whole point to start with.
Exactly right. That's how you get around some of it. And then if it didn't work, they would complain just like they have about not being able to racially gerrymander. That's the way they operate. When we come back, the Georgia State Election Board is being barred from observing tomorrow's election process. Yes, you heard me right. That's happening in your state. We'll talk to a Georgia State Election Board member and Janelle King next on Extra 1063.
Let's talk about Howard Brothers, the people over at Hobro. That's Howard Brothers. Now, they have everything for your yard. And as we get into the summer, you know you're going to need a whole lot of stuff there. Well, you also know that they are serious when it comes to grilling. Now, I'm a Traeger man, okay? I have now had, my last 3 grills, all from Howard Brothers. The one that I currently have, the one that I cook for the family, Howard Brothers. Let's fire up some top quality stuff this summer. Not only do they have the equipment, they have the spices, the sauces, and all the accessories to help with the cook over at Howard Brothers. Now, if you're into charcoal, they got you covered there. Wood pellet like me, got you covered. Propane, they got that as well. Their team can help you bring the flavor each and every time. Skip the big box stores, go with the experts, the grill experts over at Howard Brothers in Duluth, Lula, and Oakwood.
Decision 2026 coverage is live on Extra 1063 this Tuesday night. Hey, it's Tug. Join me and Los from the Morning Extra for election coverage, expert analysis, and reaction from across Georgia. Plus, hear a live commentary from the Kimmer, the Talkmaster Neil Bortz, and Victor Armendariz throughout the evening. Stay connected with the station that Atlanta turns to for talk. This Tuesday night, 6 to 8, only on Extra 1063.
Hey Braves fans, it's Tom Glavine, and when my ride needs a wash, I head straight to Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Their friendly team and industry-leading technology give my car the ultimate shine every time. Experience an elite clean you can count on at Tidal Wave Auto Spa, the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and my go-to car wash destination.
My car is happy, I am happy, Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
It has begun. The Summer Starts Here sales event now through June 1st. Commuting every day, the 2026 Toyota Camry is now all hybrid with up to 53 miles per gallon in the city. At Marietta Toyota, every new Toyota includes our nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. That's unlimited time and unlimited mileage for as long as you own it. And we've been voted Best of Comp for 2026, Best New Car Dealership, and Best Service Center. For well-qualified buyers, 5.49% APR for 72 months is available on the new 2026 Camry Hybrid. Non-Toyota owners may qualify for $1,000 Camry Conquest bonus cash, no trade-in required. Visit us on Cobb Parkway South, just north of Truist Stadium. Marietta Toyota since 1975. We have been here and will be here for you.
5.49% APR for 72 months with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. 1,000 Conquest for eligible current non-Toyota owners. Must finance or lease through Southeast Toyota Finance. No trade-in required. N61-2026. See dealer for details. All prices exclude tax, tag, title, and include dealer fee of $699.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. The legacy of Joe Biden lives. His open border policy let millions of illegal criminals stream into our country. We continue to have customers visit the showroom and report that they have been victims of break-ins and lost their hard-earned and irreplaceable items. So don't be a victim. Drive by the Safe House showroom and see what real security looks like. Picture yourself placing your valuables in a Fort Knox safe. Now that's real protection for your priceless valuables. Drop by the showroom or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
Hey, listen, it's that Rick Jackson again.
Too often, criminal illegals commit sick, violent crimes. Do that when I'm governor, and you'll end up deported or departed.
Dang. I know, right?
What do you have, Sugar?
I'll take the meatloaf and Rick Jackson for governor.
He's something, ain't he?
Oh, he's tough.
No tolerance for criminal illegals, no woke ideology.
No more do-nothing career politicians.
The man escaped the projects and built one of Georgia's most successful businesses. Plus, he's big-time pro-Trump.
And he wants to cut our property taxes. Like for real.
Shush, y'all. Here comes the good part.
No more free rides for people who refuse to work. You want to sit on your butt, binge watch Netflix, and scarf down Cheetos? Do it with your own money.
Amen to that.
Conservative Rick Jackson for Georgia.
I just love that Cheetos part.
Paid for by Jackson for Governor, Inc.
Right here in our backyard, sellers trust Purple Wave Auction to move their equipment, from excavators and ag equipment to trucks and specialty trailers. Our no-reserve online auctions help local sellers turn iron into opportunity. You get a dedicated territory manager who knows your operation, your market, and your timeline, backed by nationwide buyer demand. Local service, national reach, real results. See why more sellers choose Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com to get started today.
Babe, can you knock out my honey-do list today?
Oh, I know. I told you I'd get to it this weekend.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. I can't fix your marriage, but I can fix your house. With our handyman for a day service, we'll handle those drywall patches, that door that won't latch, the leaky faucet, and the wood rot all around your house. The whole punch list, done fast, done right. You keep your weekend, she gets the house done. Everybody wins. Book your handyman for a day at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, the Trusted Toolbox.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, May 18th, and here are your headlines. The 61st ACM Awards, hosted by Shania Twain, took over Las Vegas last night as country music's biggest stars celebrated the year's top artists and performances. Ella Langley led the night with 5 wins, including Female Artist, Song, and Single of the Year, while Cody Johnson took home Entertainer of the Year. You can hear them both at Braves Country Fest next month on June 13th. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is extending the state gas tax suspension as Memorial Day travel approaches. Kemp says the move is intended to provide drivers relief as gas prices continue to rise, the suspension now lasting through June 3rd. The original suspension was put in place earlier this year amid rising fuel prices tied to the war in Iran. And finally, Marietta City School football players packed more than 10,000 meals for people in need during a community service event over the weekend. The meals will support local food banks and families living in refugee camps near the U.S.-Mexico border. Coaches and players say the event was about building character and giving back to the community beyond football. Coming up next, Janelle King will join the guys to talk about the Georgia Election Board being barred from the election reporting room for tomorrow night's primaries. Today's weather is a beautiful one with plenty of sunshine with a high of 90 and a low of 66. Extra 106.3 headlines. I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Remember, tomorrow night, 6 until 8, we'll be here for primary coverage on Extra 106.3. It'll be Los and I, as well as the Kimmer, the incredible Neil Bortz will be calling in. So it's going to be a fun night. Flounder will be here, so it's going to be a fun night. Los is cooking up something good to keep everybody entertained. It will be it'll be a different presentation than maybe everybody else has.
I had an idea that I floated to management. I don't think they liked it very much.
Well, what was it? Which one?
Kimmer Loveline.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. Maybe moving forward, let's not run it by them.
I just said it out loud. I was like, Kimmer Loveline.
You got it.
Just call in, and Kimmer will give you some experience.
Yeah.
He will tell you if your relationship is built to last.
That's right. And that's something that Bryce is going to have to learn. And Kimmer has taken an unusual interest in Bryce's love life. So we'll probably maybe we'll get into that anyway. Even though they've asked us not to, let's just maybe break the rules, Los. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, I think we start the show with that. And we'll just see where it goes.
Showed him a picture the other day.
Oh.
He was very happy.
Okay, all right. See, Kimmer knows attractive people when he sees them. He is not a blind man. His eyeballs work real good. Lovely lady on the show this morning, Janelle King. It was so good to spend some time with you and Kelvin and so many of our friends, Janelle, over at Rustics Manor, a huge event for the Back Our Blue and America 2 rally. It was so good to see y'all, and thank you for taking the time to come on the show this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to talk to y'all and see y'all. It was like the whole Extra family was there. It was a lot of fun.
It was great. It was wonderful. But the reason we wanted you to be on this morning is something that feels a little bit sinister to me. And the fact that the Georgia State Election Board is not allowed into the election reporting office tomorrow night. And I would think that the governor would be like, well, that can't fly. Or the Secretary of State would be like, what? This is crazy. And it seems both of them are not saying a word about it.
Yeah, I mean, you left out the AG, too.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
We don't have support from our own attorney to help push this either. You know what? All of it is extremely odd, but at the same time, I'm just a firm believer that, everything that's done in the dark does come into the light. And I think that's what we're experiencing right now. We are asking for things that should not require this much pushback. This came up because there was a lot of conversation that was swarming about conflicts of interest. There were the Democrats that was saying that I had a conflict of interest because my husband was running for office, even though that wasn't true. And as that kept kind of coming up, I was thinking to myself, like, man, it's interesting that they are trying to sniff out conflicts of interest, but the most glaring conflict seems to be missed every time. And it's the fact that we have our current Secretary of State going to be allowed into this reporting room, this bunker, and he's also on the ballot. Not only that, but he can invite his friends. So, we may have Gabe Sterling in there, who's no longer with the SOS office, but is also on the ballot. I mean, who knows what's going on? And so we were just like, you know what? Instead of assuming that they're going to do something malicious, then I think what I'm going to do is we're going to push to see if we can put some observers in that room. Because the election process is supposed to be a public process outside of who you vote for. Outside of that, every other aspect of it is supposed to be transparent. So having observers in the room creates a additional a sense of comfort to the voters, knowing that we are not only protecting your ballot once you put it into the scanner and it goes through the memory cards and the tabulation, but we are protecting it all the way until the Secretary of State's office hits that button to report these numbers publicly. And so this is something that we felt would be a good added bonus to election integrity. And so in order to be fair, we said, you know what, I'm not going to be in there. I've not requested to be in the room, particularly because my husband's on the ballot. But also we thought if we only sent 2 board members, the Republican Party's representative and then the Democrat Party appointee, if we can put those 2 in there, then I think that would show in good faith that we are making sure this is as balanced as possible and we're doing the right thing. So we sent a letter. Well, actually, months ago, we started talking about this. Our chairman continued to say that he was going to speak with them. Meetings would go by and there was nothing. And then we got a time frame that he was going to speak to them in the morning, this past couple of weeks ago. And we had to kind of hunt him down for the response. We finally get this long email just to tell us we're not invited. And I'm like, well, why not? What's the problem? So they're saying, well, guys, there's nothing to see there. There's nothing happening. He's just pushing a button. I'm like, okay, well, if there's nothing to see, then I want to see the nothing. I don't have to take your word for it. We're not in a democracy. This is a republic. So next thing you know, we're being told that the location that needs to be private, and we need to be careful not to share that. And I'm like, well, if we have to have so much secretiveness around the location of it, then I would think something's happening in that room that you don't want the public to be fully aware of, whether it's for safety or whatever. But what is that? So we're just we're pushing through. But yeah, the silence is deafening from all of the elected leaders that have the power to actually push him in the right direction. So as you can see, we have no support other than from Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. I believe he spoke out. I saw Congressman Clay Fuller spoke out. But that's initially where we are, and I just don't think it's right.
Janelle King is our guest right here on the Morning Extra. And here's the strange part for me, Janelle. When you talk about the responsibilities that the bipartisan board has, it's actually spelled out in the state laws about the board has broad oversight responsibilities, and there's actually information. So how strange is it that if you're being shut out of this, whether it's yourself or a bipartisan member of the board, a couple members, that's actually in violation of state law?
It is 100%. And it's not like we haven't been in there before, because when our chairman was appointed to the board, he got an invitation to join them in the bunker. So he's been inside the bunker. I mean, his memory is a little shot right now. Unfortunately, he can't remember what anything looks like in there. However, he's been inside. So we're now telling him that we would like access, our Republican and Democrat appointee. And, I mean, we don't have a lot of support from him either. So it's just, it feels very bizarre. And my message is to the public, right? Even if you are one of those people who feel like, you know what, this is too much. I think it's too much drama. Why don't you just leave it alone? Nothing's wrong. Even if you're that person, you have to at some point ask the question, why is there so much pushback on things that should be available, you should be excited to be a part of, because it provides oversight? And when you have so many people questioning the election, you would think that this particular administration, this particular Secretary of State, would want to put a lot of that to rest so that we can move forward. But he keeps on pushing back and pushing back. And if you're that emotional about not being on the state election board anymore, or if it's something that's connected to ego or whatever, then that's a whole other reason why you need to go. But if it's bigger than that, then this is why we keep fighting, because our elections is the only thing that keeps us a strong republic. If we lose power over our elections, we lose this country. So I'm not going to let down. I'm not going to, step aside. I'm going to keep being vocal about it. And I'm calling on our elected officials to do something, say something, and be a part of this and allow us to have representation there.
Janelle King, our guest on the Morning Extra from the Georgia State Election Board, being barred from the election reporting room, which is insane. And it's funny, every time you said election integrity, I just rolled my eyes, not at you, that we even have to have this conversation, because I don't know. And we talked about it. We've talked about it over and over again. When I went and voted the other day, early voted, I like to think my vote counted. I'd like to think that it's going to be tallied up. I was told I was number 1390. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Where do I go to see ballot 1390? Can I go to the Secretary of State's office? I have no idea. And then here's the other part, Janelle, that drives me up the wall, is the Democrats, I expect them to be trying to do something. But it pisses me right off that the Republicans are just as guilty of hating my guts. I feel like they despise me and Los and you and everybody listening.
I do too. I know. Because you know what? Because they're all the same. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with people, and this is strictly my opinion. In my opinion, we're dealing with people who have been handed power and who wasn't prepared for it, or they didn't have the correct moral foundation in order to stand and hold that much power. So now, it's all about protecting legacy. It's about not wanting to be called, called names, right? It's about, I want everyone to love me. That is not the way you're supposed to lead. You're supposed to lead with truth, honesty, transparency, and doing what's right, regardless of how people feel about it. You're not able to please everybody. But we have so many elected officials who have no courage. It's like the weakest people I've ever met in my life. And I'm just like, stand up for something. I mean, give us something. But no, they continue to just, bat an eye, keep going, and making it seem like we're crazy for doing our duty as patriots to protect our republic. Because when these elected officials are long and gone, this country must still remain, and it's not going to maintain itself. We have to do it as we the people.
I feel like we're dealing with the political version of children. I know that when either one of my daughters, if they have something, and I'm like, what do you got over there? Like, nothing. I'm like, okay, there's something here.
That means there's something.
If you're telling me there's nothing to see here, then what's the big deal with me looking? I guess it comes down to something so simple as that for me, Janelle.
Right. It's like while their hand is still hiding behind their back, right? They're like, oh, I don't have anything.
I'm not doing anything. No, not at all.
Right. I know. In our house, Kelvin and I, we like to look at politics through the lens of high school. It feels like we're in high school, right? Like everybody still wants to be a part of a cool club, which is a manufactured myth of a situation or a group. But either way, you have the people that want to be in the cool club. You have the loners, like I guess who are us, who don't mind, being off on our own if we are comfortable and at peace. Then you have, those who are, the villains of the bullies that are always around. So for us, it feels like we're dealing with high schoolers, and like we're in this whole clique. I got to be part of the clique or something. And I don't get it because we're all grown people. And in most cases, I find myself in a room where I'm either the youngest or now I'm starting to become a little bit of the oldest. But for a long time, I was just the youngest in the room. And I'm looking at all these people that are over 60 and, supposed to be grown up, and they can't even stand on their own positions. Everything is always running around in circles, and, you're making something small too big. And I'm like, well, if it's small, then just answer our questions. I don't understand that. So, it's just I don't know exactly why people are doing what they're doing, but I have my opinions. And my prayer is that, God prevails and that his will prevails, which we know will happen. But at the same time, I'm glad that we're putting this pressure on the office. They know that people are watching, and there better not be any funny business. And that's another message that we're sending.
Well, but that's the thing. We were talking about Los, he and his wife are celebrating their 20th anniversary. And we talked about how do you make it work? And it's not allowing the little things to become big things. If there's nothing, then we got nothing to worry about. That little thing should be exposed, and you talk about it and get through it, and you're all good. But they won't even talk about it. They just and that's the thing. And that leads me to final thought here, because I know you got a busy day too. It's not like we've ever seen anything in our election here in Georgia that would make us question.
I know.
We have no reason to be concerned at all.
What's the big deal?
I know, right? I'm like, okay, let's just forget about the missing tabulator tapes and no zero tapes and all the other stuff.
Chains of custody.
Plus backlog cases that the SOS was holding from 2020 and 2021. Like, I mean, it's all absurd what we're dealing with. And as much as, like, I really, really try my best to see things with clear eyes, right? It can get convoluted on both sides. And I really try to have clear eyes. And in doing that, where I always get hung up and struggle is where I'm like, look, like you were talking about the little things. Why is it that when I ask for the public documents that that prove that nothing happened in our elections and prove that our elections are currently going well, why is it that you either hit me with a large bill or you tell me I can't have it or you slow walk it? I mean, we had to call the Department of Justice to get public documents. This is insanity.
Yeah, it is.
Who are these people, and why do they think that they somehow control us? I'm over it. I'm tired of it.
Me too.
I want to see new leadership. I look forward to seeing new leadership. And my prayer is that what we have all learned as we the people is that we cannot put this country on autopilot.
Nope.
It will not run on autopilot. It will eventually run off of a cliff if we don't control it. And that's the message that I'm sending.
Yeah, it'll be taken advantage of. And people are they're fallible. They are fallible, and they will accept the money, or they'll accept the power, or both. And then they will, once they get their hands on it, they never want to let it go. And that's I feel like that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, I was talking to an elected official last night, and it was interesting because we were talking about how easy. He was like, man, it's so easy to get corrupted. It's so easy. He was like, the way that, these lobbyists and these people come to you and offer you all this stuff for just one vote. And the fact of the matter is, one of the things we were talking about is that none of us are perfect. None of us are above power or corruption and all of that stuff. But you got to have some type of item or a tether that tethers you to morality. And for us, it's our faith. We're more concerned about God being upset with us and about where we're going to be and spend eternity than we are any of these people or what they want or what they're thinking. So when that is the priority, it gives you comfort in knowing that, I may not get that extra $100,000 sent into my bank account for passing this bill, but you know what? I've learned to be content in the state that I am in, and I'm okay with that. I don't have to take that stuff. But when there's no moral restraint and you're literally at the whim of your flesh and whatever you desire, this is what you're going to get. And that's what we're dealing with. So I'm praying for these people. I'm praying for the decisions they have to make. And I'm just hoping that all goes well tomorrow night.
God, you're the best.
Remember, everybody, to vote for Kelvin King.
Yes, that's
Secretary
right.
of State.
That's right. Absolutely right. Because when it comes to politicians, and Los and I have been fortunate enough to spend time with Kelvin, and we both know his level of integrity, and we know your level of integrity.
Yeah.
So they're few and far between. And when you see it, you recognize it, and that's why we're so grateful to have you and Kelvin both. And thank you for taking the time to come on and talk about it this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I'll come anytime.
Always welcome. The best. Janelle King, Georgia State Election Board, who's been locked out of the reporting room.
Such a strange story.
Bizarre, dude.
It's getting around nationally. Like, why aren't y'all allowing your state election board that legally is supposed to be there, that is bipartisan?
You pulled up the state law.
Why aren't y'all allowing them in there? And it always just goes back to the same people.
Dude, I don't have an answer. I don't have an answer. Janelle's on the board, and she couldn't give me an answer because she doesn't even know. It's unbelievable, dude. It's unreal that this happens in my home. This is my home, dude.
If you're not doing anything, then what's the big deal?
So small, nothing to see here. It's boring in there. It's boring. Okay, good. Let me go in and be bored. It's unfreaking believable, dude. Unreal. Absolutely unreal that this happens in the state of Georgia. The Republicans dislike you just as much as the Democrats do. And it's sickening. It's sickening. Next on the Morning Xtra, find one person that represents what Marco Rubio does. Next on the Morning Xtra as we wrap up the show.
Xtra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, May 18th. The Atlanta Braves remain the best team in baseball after taking 2 of 3 from the Boston Red Sox over the weekend at Truist Park. 8-1 the final yesterday afternoon. The Braves now head to Miami for a 4-game series with the Marlins starting tonight. It'll be J.R. Ritchie on the mound against Max Meyer. First pitch is set for 6:40. You can hear all the game action on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and free on the Fan app. Aaron Rai won the PGA Championship after shooting a final round 65 yesterday. He wins the tournament by 3 strokes over John Rahm and Alex Smalley. And from the NBA, the Western Conference Finals start tonight as the Oklahoma City Thunder host the San Antonio Spurs. That tip-off is set for 8:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
For more local sports, head over to The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. And for the latest political news and talk, stick with Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Braves Country, your season just got even better. Introducing Braves.tv, the new way to stream over 140 Braves games with no local blackouts. Watch live or on demand on any device. No cable, no satellite, no hassle. Monthly subscriptions are now available for $19.99. That's less than 70 cents a game. So head to Braves.tv to subscribe today. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Okay, I got a question. When you update your home, do you want a quick patch job, or do you want it completely done right, start to finish? Hey, it's a Kimmer. That's why I trust my buddy Jeff at Peach State Windows. You can see their work right now at peachstatewindows.com, and what stands out is quality. For over 50 years, Jeff and his team have been helping Georgia homeowners do things the right way. No shortcuts, no goofing around, no surprises, especially when it comes to siding. Now, I've always loved Hardy Plank, and in Georgia, it's not just about the looks. It's about holding up to heat and humidity and everything our weather throws at your home. Right now, Jeff's got a great offer. 1,000 square feet of premium cement, fiber, Hardy Plank siding for just $69.85. That includes removal of your old siding, professional installation, finishing paint, a complete exterior upgrade. How about this? 0% financing for 12 months. 770-485-8011. Making the uglies go away. Check them out. PeachStateWindows.com.
This is Flounder, and if you want fewer HVAC surprises, call Dobbs Heating and Air. The Dobbs Club membership includes 2 maintenance visits a year, and right now you get a 3rd visit free. That means better efficiency, longer system life, and improved indoor air quality. You get priority scheduling, 15% off repairs, and no overtime charges. Plans start at just $199 with membership starting at $17 a month. Service calls are only $85. Dobbs Heating and Air. Local, honest, and dependable. Find them at dobbshvac.com.
You and your buddy. You've been through a lot with each other. The ups and the downs. He's been with you every morning, noon, and night. You've traveled the world together. Heck, he was even with you on your first big date. But have you noticed he's struggling lately? Not performing on the job. He can't even stand up straight anymore. He's wanting to cry out for help, but just doesn't know how. He needs Dr. Dio and Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can give him the gift of good posture this year, help him stand proud and become all he was meant to be. Now, take him by the hand, look him in the eye and say, "I appreciate you, little fella, and we're going to get you some help." We're going to call 404-777-1911. We're going to visit tbtofga.com. We are going to say goodbye to erectile dysfunction forever. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. It's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Online at tbtofga.com.
Hey, this is Los with David from Atlanta, who just purchased his new car with the Honest Car Guy, the new, fully transparent way to buy your next vehicle. David, tell us about your experience.
I had been looking for a vehicle for a couple months. The car buying process was a little challenging at first for me. I had some credit issues in the past, and I just happened to hear a familiar voice on the radio, and it happened to be on the Honest Car Guy ad. I got in touch with Tom. Within 2, maybe 3 days, I had a vehicle being shipped here from Orlando, Florida. I have already recommended him to family members, several friends, and I'll purchase a car from Tom when I make my next purchase for sure.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
I'm Patrick Brown, former Army Ranger in the United States Army. Like many service members, I had to make difficult choices when leaving the military, and the most challenging thing was finding purpose in a new phase of life. Housing, employment, education, way too many decisions and no idea where to start. That was until I met the Warrior Alliance. They made it simple. They listened and quickly connected me to the services I needed. And like a trusted friend, they even followed up to make sure I was squared away. Change a veteran's life today by donating at thewarrioralliance.org. Helping warriors navigate to success after service.
Protecting your home shouldn't be a headache and it shouldn't break the bank.
Well, a lot of security companies lock you into multi-year contracts and surprise you with huge cancellation fees if you move or your needs change. SimpliSafe does things entirely differently. With SimpliSafe, you get award-winning 24/7 professional monitoring for a fraction of the cost. Service starts about $1 a day, and there's no waiting for a technician or drilling into your walls. You just customize your system online in minutes. They ship it to your door. You could set it up yourself in under an hour. You get premium protection without the high-pressure sales calls or long-term commitments. It's security that earns your trust every day, not through trapping you in fine print. That's why over 5 million people rely on SimpliSafe and why U.S. News & World Report has named them the best home security system of 2026. Right now, get 50% off your custom system at simplisafe.com/Beck. That's half off simplisafe.com/Beck. There is no safe like SimpliSafe.
The Democrats, if you're a conservative, they're not your friend. They don't like you. The establishment Republicans hate you. They can't stand you. They can't imagine how they have to deal with the conservatives to get stuff done. They're grossed out by it. In fact, they might hate you more than Democrats do.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. About to hand this thing off to the Glenn Beck program. And then Clay and Buck.
Glenn Beck.
And all of conservative media. And then the Kimmer Show.
Oh, my God.
Wide open.
Right.
You'll hear that several times, I might imagine.
I need it.
That's right.
I need it today. I need some oh, my God in my life.
I need it oh my God.
Oh, my God.
Not that one, though.
Well, that's... Okay. So this is how I've described it. You know when your favorite artist breaks it down?
Yeah, okay. I think I know where you're going with
For
this.
instance, when we talk about Poison, we've said Unskinny Bop is, oh my God!
Yeah.
Every Rose Has Its Thorn is, oh my God.
And you even did the sigh, because if you remember right before he hits that first note, you have the sigh.
I mean, that's Guns N' Roses' Patience.
Dude, love it.
You got to get that version of Kimmer. And so every now and then, Kimmer breaks it down to let you know, I'm serious about this one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's more of like the rock.
Hey, I got an email from a guy named David. He says, listening to that interview with Janelle, one thing came to mind. This is simply the primary.
Yeah.
If there's that much pushback for this election, what's going to happen during the actual election, during the midterms?
David, here's the issue we run into. We have long heard, and Janelle has heard the same thing, but we can't prove anything, that basically Georgia's so swampy, or what is it you called it? Sewer. What happens is power gets passed back and forth between those that are part of the big club. Now, we're caught up in, like, does the Democrat or the Republican win? What we've pointed out is that, listen, the Democrats get hosed in this, so do the Republicans. But you'll notice, hey, listen, I'm going to win the governorship, but you're going to get some Senate seats.
What do you think?
I think that works.
Horse trading a little bit?
That's the way we have heard how this has played out for a number of years.
Yeah.
And so the only question has been, can you get the state election board, a bipartisan group, to have access so they can see how this all, show me how the bread is buttered. Show me how the baby's made.
That's right.
Show me the sausage here.
That's right.
And the answer is no.
Will not. Refuse. Dude,
to the point where the governor actually defunded the board.
It's so gross, and it's so frustrating to see what's happening under the Gold Dome.
If there's nothing to see, then what's the big deal?
But it's all the people that tell me all the time that we got the freest and the safest and the easiest to vote. It's great. It's wonderful. We're doing the best. Okay. I want to believe that. But I got to tell you, when I left the library in downtown Alpharetta, I don't know. I have no idea. There's no way for me to know.
You were very Theo Vaughn on that.
What?
So we'll see.
We'll see. That's right. I didn't get bit.
I voted.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
That's right.
That's what it feels like.
It does, totally.
It's the we'll see moment.
It's totally that.
I've been told. We'll see.
They tell me. It's infuriating. You should be mad about it. And look, if you're a Democrat listening, you should be mad too. You should be furious.
Because even Democrat the Republican members of that board are like, this has hosed you too.
Yeah. Going back to at least 2016.
And what does it go back to? To one giant club. And we ain't in it.
Yeah. Ain't none of us in it. And they ain't going to invite us in anytime soon that I can do.
Yep. They'll make sure that the club stays closed.
And look, I want to believe that, let's say we get a new governor, which we will. We're going to, right? Whomever that becomes. I want to believe that they're going to do the right thing, but I feel like we're going to have to hold their feet to the fire because they're being pulled in so many different directions. I want to believe, but I need to be shown because I don't blindly trust anybody, Los, at all.
No, even those that are supposed to be shown legally are not allowed to be shown.
And, which is the reason I said just that. That'll do it for us. Thank you for being here. For Los and Bryce. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Need more than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Xtra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
I know there are plenty of HVAC companies out there, but here's why Central Heating and Air Conditioning stands out. These days, it's hard to tell who's on first. Companies are changing hands, showing up with new names. You may not even realize it's not the same team anymore. But Central, they've never left the field. They've been your hometown team since 1947, and that kind of consistency matters, especially when you're trusting someone with your home. Central's team knows HVAC